Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. I'm your host, Midnight Vesper, and if you're new here, well, here's how this works. For more current slash digital games, we'll be using digital stores like Steam, GOG, itch.io, Epic, etc. to look at the MSRP price or list price. For retro games, we'll be using a wide assortment of price rating or price selling sites. And we'll be looking at the loose price of the game. We will not count any sales or discounts as they vary from the time of purchase. Couple announcements real fast. Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online will be January 8th through the 15th. Game submissions and event volunteer applications are now open until September 24th. You can head on over to gamesdonequick.com for more information. That was actually a couple days ago. My apologies. Fright Fatales, however, is a one-day event on October 23rd to celebrate spooky season with dark, scary, or horror-themed speedruns from the Frame Fatales community. Use !Fright in Twitch chat to learn more about this one-off event. Your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick, both with hotfix and with awesome Games Done Quick 2023 costs. So please consider subbing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. And of course, today on the Bargain Bin, we're going to have two really cool shooting type games. Later on, we're going to have the amazing looter shooter Borderlands 2. But first, we're going to have Prison Run and Gun being showcased by DeathChain33. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm DeathChain33. Today, we've got an interesting one. It's a retro-style 2D platformer, and I'm very excited to showcase it.
I can't wait to see this. It's going to be super fun.
Alrighty, then. So, I'll count us in when we're ready.
Yep,
so, time will start when I press enter on how to escape. So, we'll count down 3, 2, 1, go. So, first thing to talk about is some of the movement. During these load screens, you can actually move your character. So we'll use that throughout the run to be able to get to the right positions. Other things to talk about are movement speed. So your movement varies depending on if you're carrying a gun or not. So generally you'll see me throw guns away when I don't need them anymore. Next we have the helmet. So the helmet allows you to break floors like we did right there, to be able to progress through the levels. It also allows you to tank a hit. If I have a helmet in level 28 later on, we can do the only form of a damage boost that the game has, where we can boost through an obstacle. Not saving too much time, but it saves a decent amount. Another thing to talk about is the RNG. So this is any percent. I have all the items unlocked already before, because the game doesn't allow you to start from a fresh save file. And with that means that every gun pickup will be random. I generally want to hope for the blaster or the assault rifle because they blow up obstacles much quicker. The blaster's generally like one to two shots. So
I love the music.
Yeah, the music, it also has 3 different tracks too. So every 10 levels, a new track pops up.
It just reminds me of was it Beverly Hills Cop? Like all that 80s like cop movie?
Kind of. There's a billboard near the end of the game once you get to the rooftop that kind of reminds me of the 80s cop shows. So this level is pretty much just a waiting game. You have to wait for this elevator. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end up throwing my gun once I pick it up. So we're just going to throw it down here. And now it's going to be who knows where. It's another element of randomness. So we got a decent drop. I've had it on the right side before, which is not great. All right, so in this level, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these 2 boxes here. This is actually a rather new, I've started doing this recently. And it just guarantees that the saw is going to break that box and I can actually launch myself over. Removing a part of the randomness that there was in this level, because it used to be random if the saw was going to break it. In this level, I didn't get it. You can actually make it so that you break that floor before that guy spawns, and he'll drop down. It saves, I believe, 3 seconds. I've only gotten it once. This next level is on just a cycle. You can actually just take your time, as long as you bank it before the elevator comes back down.
So what
I apologize for the dogs.
Sorry. So what inspires you to run this game?
I'm a noob. SG is another runner in the community. Oops. All right. That's all right. So we're predominantly RE runners. I also do Dark Souls, but he was the one who recommended it to me, and another member of the RE community recommended the game to him, Mr. Christopher Richards. So we all just, a bunch of Resident Evil runners got together and started to play a platformer. And it's got a lot of stuff going on, which is really interesting. And it's been a fun run. I occasionally still do like grind it offline.
It looks really fun to run. It looks very like almost chill, but not, you know?
Yeah, this is the early levels are pretty difficult as well. Before I figured out a way to get level 5, which was the boxes, to work out decently, it was just a coin flip if you were going to get it or not. So on level 10, we're going to try to one cycle this. The one cycle saves about 10 seconds. So I got to go through quickly. So I mashed the jump button there to ensure that I'm not going to get hit by that gun. I've lost many runs to just that gun. All right, cool. So basically by one cycle, you can just kill that guy while he's passing through. And if not, you have to wait for him to actually run back. So like I said, now we're on level 11, so the music changes. And we also get introduced to a new equipment. This is the jumpsuit. It breaks the floor. And you can also, something I forgot to mention is you've got your small jumps, and if you hold the jump button, you get larger jumps. And with the jumpsuit, if you hold the jump button, you get blasted really high. So we'll be using that mechanic a little bit later to try to do a small little skip. It saves like 2 seconds.
Music still has that 80s vibe. Like it went from like almost like Beverly Hills Cop to almost like a flock of seagulls.
So level 12 is pretty chill. You just kind of vibe. Sorry?
I kind of want the soundtrack.
I don't know if they have the soundtrack for sale. I haven't actually looked. All right, so this level is a bit precise. You can actually jump over that fire without having to wait. That was discovered. I think I found that 2 weeks after I started running. A lot of the discoveries are, there's only really 2 runners currently, me and Noob. And so we've been just working back and forth with routing. And a lot of the time saves came from just the new runner. Like the world record before I started running was 19 minutes and 30 seconds. And the current world record is 16 minutes and 30 seconds. So we saved 3 minutes with just having one new runner come in to route.
That's really impressive.
Yeah. So we get the grenades now. Grenades are used when you don't have a gun equipped. You can throw them with, in my case, it's the triangle button because I run this on controller, but it also has keyboard and mouse controls. Well, keyboard controls specifically. And we also get the flying mines now. So flying mines are a bit of an issue in the later levels because they're random. And in level 25, we need them to drop at a specific spot to be able to blow up a generator. And it doesn't like doing that. So this one, I just face myself against the wall, throw a grenade, and when he's on the beige portion, I'm going to jump. on him. All right, we're gonna have to wait. You can jump through this cycle. And then I'm gonna stop right here. This guy's gonna go past that line, and I can just start running through. That makes sure that he dies and we don't end up blowing ourselves up.
I have to say, this is a pretty unique prison to have, like, landmines. Just random places.
Definitely. And saws. They're like, yep, you guys aren't getting out.
Yeah. Who designed this prison?
So I make sure to keep the helmet there so that I can tank the damage from that barrel. If not, you have to bait the barrel out and then jump over it. All right, so we're gonna try to do a strat I found right before the One and Done-a-thon, actually. Like the day of One and Done-a-thon, I discovered this. Oh, got it, first try, let's go.
Nice.
So I used the jumpsuit to boost onto that box. It's very precise. I have to bounce off the last pixel of that one box to be able to make it. I'm very happy that that worked first try. There's a lot of jumps like that. There's in level 23, the noob skip uses a kind of a pixel perfect jump up like that as well. I stand in that corner in case that barrel, as you saw, it almost hit the wall. If it hit the wall, it doesn't fall down and blow up the floor. And so I stand in that position so I can use a grenade.
How precise do you have to be with these grenades? I know I've seen earlier that when you were throwing them, they had to be at a specific spot. Is it just depending on like the location, or like does it have to be really precise with the bouncing of the grenades?
I'm generally lining up against specific things. Like this is a lineup right here to be able to ensure that it goes in the right spot. They don't have to be super precise because they have a pretty decent explosion radius. That one was actually just a backup strat because I missed the... usually that second grenade blows up both boxes, but recovered really well for that one. All right, so here's one of the first major skips discovered. It's called jumpsuit skip. So the game wants you to use that jumpsuit in that orange box, but you can just wait for that guy to line up with that broken wall and just jump and he'll blow up the box for you.
Nice.
Now, that's going to change once we introduce 100%, which I've started routing, because the key for this level... so this game has 29 keys, and you need 25 of them to progress through the game. And so Hundo will require you to pick up all the keys and all the guns. And the key for that level is hidden behind a steel door. Oh, I didn't jump enough. A steel door on the right side. So you actually have to pick up the jumpsuit to get the guys carrying the mines to blow it up.
I'm trying to figure out exactly like this new music, how this fits into the 80s vibe. I just like how it's all just like synth. Everything in this is just synth, and I'm totally down for it.
Really good. Okay, so this is level 23. Level 23, we're gonna go for my version of the noob skip. There's a safe version and then the complete YOLO version. So, all right, let's go. So that's the YOLO version, because if you're not jumping correctly, you'll land right in that electric grate and die. The safe version, you would blow up the generator first, and then you can make the jump and fall to the platform below. So a lot of the levels run on cycles, which isn't too bad. Level 27, which is up later, is complete RNG. So it's a heavy run killer late in the game.
How many levels are there in this, at least for this particular run?
There are 30.
30? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you just have to manually know where you're at, or are there ways of saying like you're like at whatever level you're at now?
So generally, I would have them written in my splits, including the directions of where to load your movement. But after having done this enough, I can recognize which levels some of them are. So this is level 25. And this is the one I was talking about being complete random. Oh, we got good RNG. Let's go. That bomb can actually just drop on the wrong side. I'm going to wait here just so I don't get killed. Just take it slightly safe. And there's also fireworks boxes. Those are those pulsating lights of the fireworks, and they can blow you up pretty easily. So level 26. You can one cycle the entire level by just doing it precisely. So hopefully we can get it. Once that bomb starts to go down, we can jump. You have to be careful because your character does this little like splayed leg thing when he's landing on something, and if he's stuck in that animation, you can't actually jump out of it.
Is that a plane?
There was a guy on a rocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's just prisoners on rockets. This place is wild.
I mean, I see that all the time. I mean, I've seen that on rockets all the time.
All right, so this is level 27. So this is the heaviest run killer of the game. Unless you're me, and then the last level, which is not really difficult, you'll lose your runs to.
Are they yelling as they?
Yeah, they're yelling. I think they're scared. So I'm gonna try to get the mines to drop on a very specific part. I believe this should work. Ooh, unfortunate.
Oh.
Yeah. It's all right. I think that's the first death of the run, actually.
I think you're right. Still, overall, great run.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that can happen. I took it a bit slower because I was afraid of that one mine that dropped at the edge of the platform, and I ended up hitting the fire for it.
I just enjoy the yelling.
Yeah, it's really good.
When they explode.
There we go.
Oh, so that was really close.
Yeah. That's why I was, it happens. That's actually better RNG than I usually get in that level.
Mm-hmm.
So level 28, this used to be the heaviest run killer as well. After 27, you used to die a lot. Your runs used to die a lot to level 28. But see that right there? There's a... Oh, I messed it up. Okay, we can explain it again. So there's a red piece of metal on the right side of this elevator. And I use that as a visual cue. When it lines up with that black piece, you can do a tall jump and move to the right, and you'll be able to bypass that gun.
I did see in chat someone said that, and maybe to alluding to something else, but they said that this is like a mashup of Broforce and Meat Boy. It may have been alluding to something else, but I totally see that.
It's pretty interesting. They're releasing the sequel in, I believe, December. And I don't remember how many levels it's supposed to have. They have a bunch of other platformers for around the same cost as well.
Well, there you go. If you like platformers or possibly something in this style, there you go.
So that's the only damage boost we do in the run. You can actually just avoid having to throw a grenade, and you can just, since it gives you a bit of iframes, you can just pass through that barrier. The thing stopping us from being able to just pick up the helmet and leave without the grenades is the fact that we have to actually blow up. Come on, thank you. We have to actually blow up the box outside and the box inside. So I'm gonna wait for that guy to pass the air conditioner.
Oh, he was holding a mine. Okay.
Yeah, these guys are all holding mines. So this level is on a cycle because you have to just wait for him to follow you.
I thought he was holding like a dinner plate and he was just trying to give you food.
Yeah, I'm cruel, right? Just... And this area, you have to be very careful not to hit the shoot button because this huge gas tank can actually just blow up. All right, so we're coming up on level 30. Time will be on the game clear screen. So you think you're out, but they actually sent an attack helicopter against you. So this guy gave us a rocket launcher because I don't know. You just get a rocket launcher.
For reasons.
And once he passes that red sign, I'm going to shoot twice, and then we just leave and try to jump the Gatling gun. It's super slow because you have to still blow up this line. And time.
Nice. Good run all around.
Yeah, I'm amazed at getting those YOLO strats first try because those are very, very precise. But like you're essentially jumping off the last pixel that you have for floor.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for showcasing that amazing run. Felt great time all around. If anyone was in chat and like, ooh, this was like a really fun game for me to learn, like maybe something, a quick run or something, they said, ooh, there may be a lot more to develop about this game. I want to know more. Where would they go?
So we have a Discord. You can find it on the speedrun page. And we are posting always either our run fails or new discoveries. And so it's just that. There's also, if you're interested in getting into the run, I've made a tutorial for the run. It's a bit outdated because I found some new strats, so I got to update it. But I've made a tutorial for the run if you're interested in getting into it. We also have individual level leaderboards. If you're not thinking, oh, I don't really want to do a full game run, you can just do one level and, practice that and kill it.
Nice. If anyone was interested in following you as a runner for other things, I know you said you do RE as well. Where would they go?
They would go to twitch.tv/DeathChain33. I do RE and Dark Souls.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good combination there. Anything else you'd like to give a shout out to?
I want to just shout out I'm a Noob for introducing me to this, as well as Mr. Christopher Richards for introducing Noob to the game. Everyone that's been around, hung out, and thank you again for having me on. It's been a fun time to showcase this game.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for showcasing this amazing little platformer. It was really, really unique and really cool to see. So thank you so much. And for everyone in chat, don't worry, we have some amazing games coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to have Borderlands 2 coming up here in a little bit. But first, don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to take a small break where we get things set for Borderlands 2. It's a great time to get up, stretch, use the restroom, get some water, etc., etc. We'll be right back. And welcome back to The Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. I'm excited for what we're about to show you all. But first, do not forget, if you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, use !links in Twitch chat for all things GDQ. And of course, do not forget, Fright Fatales is a one-day event on October 23rd to celebrate spooky season with dark, scary, or horror-themed speedruns from the Frame Fatales community. Use !Fright in Twitch chat to learn more about this one-off event. I don't know how the horror-themed voices I was doing was working, but we'll go with it anyways. We're going to go into our next run with ZZ Rules 21, showcasing Borderlands 2. I cannot wait for this. ZZ, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How was the prison run and gun?
That was fantastic. I was such a great run. It was super fun. Yeah, I'm probably going to pick it up, maybe learn it myself here in a little bit.
Awesome. Are we ready to get started with Borderlands 2?
I believe so. You also have a commentator as well.
I do have a commentator. This is actually an aimbot takeover.
This is true, yes.
I'm joined by Amerlin, the host of aimbot.
Hi, I'm Amerlin. I used to run this game a lot, and then people got better than me, and I got washed up.
Nah, you could pick it up.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys could if you wanted to.
For sure.
But anyways, yes, this is Borderlands 2. I'm going to be running any percent with DLC. The reason we have the with DLC part is because I'm going to be running Gage, who is one of the DLC characters. That with DLC part means that we can just use any DLC we want, particularly Gage. And then we have some starting weapons that you can see on Gage's back that I'm going to be using, which is the main differentiation between base 90% and 90% with DLC. The last housekeeping thing before we get started is I'm on patch 1.1 of the game, which is the first patch that Gage was released on. There are a ton of glitches on this version of the game that are patched out in current versions, and we'll be explaining them as we get to it later on. So we should be ready to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So we have a short little 45-second or so cutscene of just waiting for Claptrap, just kind of explaining what we're doing here. Timing usually doesn't start for base games until we get control of the character, but for marathon type runs, it's usually easier just to start from the menu. So we have to wait for Claptrap a little bit. The starting weapons that we start with are part of the Premier Club DLC. And really the main important part is we're going to start with a sniper with fixed parts, which is going to be the best parted sniper that we can use. Oh, no game sound.
Be low?
No, Claptrap's very loud. All right. I think that should have fixed it. I just turned it off and turned it back on again. Can you hear Claptrap now?
Take this echo communicator that I totally didn't loot from one of these
I see activity, so I think we should be good.
Heads-up display, complete with a mini-map. Now, come, friend.
Perfect.
Get you inside.
So turn it off and back on again. Base troubleshooting. So as I was saying before, the starting sniper that we're going to use is in our backpack. It's going to be the best sniper that we're actually going to use throughout the entirety of the run, which is wild for a level 1 weapon. We'll get into reasons why a little bit later. So Claptrap has a couple of triggers all throughout this starting part that we just run through and we ignore. That hits all the triggers. So we're going to wait for him to start talking. And we have a couple of text boxes beforehand. So we're going to equip the sniper. This is the best shooting sniper that we can start with. Shoots the fastest, has the most damage that we need, or enough damage for us to need. So this first section is a lot of waiting for Claptrap. Pretty much the entire 6-minute starting section is just, I don't even want to say 6 minute, probably the first 15 or so minutes is just, let's wait for Claptrap, which is fine. We have ways that we can speed him up. But he has another little bit of dialogue here that we can't really skip, but that's going to set us up for a neat little death fling. If your character hitbox falls into terrain after you die, it kicks it back at really high speeds, and we're going to use that to hit a save station that's on the other side of this wall, which is going to let us skip Claptrap a little bit. So we have the quest turn in at this little cabinet. So we just have to wait for this cutscene to get started.
It's really weird. The beginning and the end of this run, I have a lot of Claptrap, and then not really much anywhere else.
No, there's some in the middle of it.
Claptrap.
There's some in the middle of it. The barrier.
Yeah, but you don't have to. It's not as reliant on him. I'm thinking the door fight before Heroes Pass mainly.
True. So that Borderlands symbol in the top right corner was us hitting that save station. So here we are on the other side of the wall, and that skips a lot of animations and dialogue from Claptrap, which saves a ton of time. All the other characters can actually just shove their face into the wall and hit that save, but Gage is too short, so she can't. So we have to do that little death fling. It's a little slower, but faster than waiting for Claptrap.
Yeah, even Salvador, who is physically shorter than Gage, can do it because his hitbox is taller.
I didn't think it was his taller hit, but I thought it was just he was a little chunkier than Gage.
No, maybe yeah.
So these starting fights are extremely scripted. And we have... Oh. Hang on, we're good. There we are. They're extremely scripted. 6 spawns, and we move on. This upcoming area, though, the spawns are going to be here a little early, and we're going to kill them early, which isn't going to speed things up. We're still going to have to re-kill them for the story part, but they're going to give us some extra XP, which is going to be really, really important. We have a bunch of early game XP milestones, level milestones that we have to hit, and just killing these enemies early while we're waiting for Claptrap anyway, just gives us a little bit of extra XP to get closer to those XP milestones.
The last bastion of the resistance against Jack.
So anytime I have any type of like, or first-person shooter, or I know first-person shooter speedrunners, I always ask, how hard is it to angle to where you could just constantly just zoom in and hit the enemy at that frame, almost like just look at what you're doing right there?
It's funny you mentioned that because this game has aim assist, which is incredibly, incredibly strong. Anytime you zoom in and your crosshair is just kind of close to the enemy, zooming in locks in on that enemy. So we abuse that throughout the entirety of the run because the aim assist in this game is just incredibly, incredibly strong.
Yeah, in this game in particular, it locks to the center of their hitbox, which is great for things like bullywongs because their crit spot is in the center of their hitbox.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter too much. It doesn't matter too much for the smaller ones because you just kill them with a body shot anyway. So here we're actually going to do the first glitch in the game, which is called weapon merging. So what I did is I swapped away from the sniper and then swapped them in my equipped slots, and that basically tricks the game into thinking I'm still holding the sniper. And sniper rifles have, this Jacob sniper rifle in particular has extra 160% crit damage. So now that extra crit damage is on my SMG, which this is the first boss of the game. And with all this extra crit, he is just going to melt. So that's the first boss. Yep. There we are. And then there's a pistol. This is always the most difficult part of this early game, is finding where this pistol actually flies. There we are. And the pistol is a little bit important. We're going to use it to merge. It has slightly less crit damage, but still enough for us to search it out. So what I just did there is I did a double save quit. That basically progresses Claptrap further on in the hill towards the end of the map. And it's actually faster to double save quit there than just waiting for Claptrap. Common trend in this run. So that double save quit there means we have to run across the entirety of this map, but again, still faster than waiting for Claptrap.
And for those of you wondering, we can't get a Hornet this early, so there's no. We can't get a Hornet on the first kill, so there was no point in checking for one.
You can get a Hornet.
You can? I thought that was proven wrong. Okay.
Nope, you can get a Hornet. It's so on patch 1.1. Actually, I think it was patch 1.8.4 that Gearbox upped the legendary drop rates to 10%. On this patch, it's like maybe 1% chance of getting a legendary from dedicated drops. So it is incredibly, incredibly unlikely to get a legendary on this patch. So it's not even worth. It's not worth checking because of that super, super low rate, super low chance. If we get one and find it, great. It saves a little bit of time later on, but it's
also a decent amount of money.
Worth checking. Yeah, that too.
Keep your wits about you, minion.
So this is another part where we have enemies that spawn a little early that we're going to kill before the actual story quest to kill them, just so that we get a little bit extra XP. So we want to hit level 4 at a very specific time. So I'm going to be collecting a bunch of XP and some downtime to get to that point. So I'm going to merge my sniper onto this pistol because by killing them early, those Blimmongs early, they just kind of spawn right here, and we can kill them super, super quickly with the aim assist.
Nice.
And then save quit there skips a lot of animations and dialogue, which means we can do this next part of the wave fight immediately as soon as we get there. It's actually a really difficult part for early game. The spawns are still really set, but you can get some unluckiness with where the enemies go, with the RNG of some of the sniper shots too. Yep, like that. I was locked up to the enemy, but it just didn't go there. So another save quit to skip a whole bunch of dialogue. And just run over here. See, Claptrap has to run. You can sort of see him in the distance. He has to run all the way from the gate to Hammerlocks, which is about the same time as it takes for us to run from the start to Hammerlock. If that gives you a sense of why we have to wait for Claptrap a lot.
No, I did have a question, and I know that with maybe some of the later Borderlands games, like each weapon has different attributes to them, and I'm not sure if that's completely RNG heavy depending on this, but if that is, does that play a factor in the speedrun in any way, shape, or form? Like if you get something that's got maybe, less attack versus more attack?
A little. So the main
of.
difference in the later Borderlands games compared to this one is every manufacturer has its own type of quirk and gimmick. So Jacob's weapons are high damage, and depending on the type, either high fire rate or really low fire rate. Hyperion is very accurate. Bandit has high mag size. And we use some of those inherent properties with a couple of glitches. So I think that sort of answers your question. In terms of differences in damage types, we actually have it set so that we get certain weapons at a certain damage range at certain points in the run. And as long as we get... Oh, nice shield there. As long as we get a weapon at that part, we're fine. Obviously, higher damage is going to be preferred. But the way that RNG is laid out is you can finish the game with just white weapons. It's just the higher damage, the higher rarity is going to speed things up a little bit more, just by virtue of having more damage.
There's also a couple of extra snipers you can get throughout the run, and it's like cool if they have an extra like crit bonus on them, which is possible, but it does not matter at all. It's like 180% damage versus 160%. So basically nothing.
Or 100 if you just get a different brand sniper. Yeah. So like it's not something that we'll go out of our way necessarily to like farm for, but if we get it, more power to us, really.
Yeah.
So another part where we just kind of have to wait for Claptrap to get down this hill. Like I said, we have about another, I want to say 10 minutes of just waiting for Claptrap. He has certain triggers through here that we have to stand in for him to progress. That one being one right there. And then once he says that line, we can start killing.
Yeah, if he starts his fight early before Claptrap talks, then he has to fight a second wave of enemies, and obviously that takes longer.
I wouldn't say it takes long. It just messes with our XP routing. So I'm at the perfect XP that by finishing this fight, I'll hit my level 4 at a very specific time. So I'm gonna get into a very awkward spot to take on this fight. That's gonna set me up for a grenade jump a little later. So this early part for these wave fights is just how fast you can snipe and how good you are at sniping. Even with the aim assist, it's still, I wouldn't say easy, but the aim assist definitely helps a ton.
So do you use keyboard mouse or do you use controller or do you like a mixture?
We use keyboard mouse. So actually mix that. Actually, we use a mixture, and we'll get into that a little later. So grenade jump here gets us into this arena before I need that. Before the bridge goes down. Again, that's more waiting for Claptrap, so if we can avoid waiting for Claptrap, that's really good. So I hit level 4 at a very specific time. Whenever you level up, you get double damage for 30 seconds. So this is the second boss. We have Boom, and then we also have Boom. So having double damage for this boss fight just makes it go really, really fast. So
it's Boom and his brother Boom.
Yep, there's one Boom, there's the other Boom, and then there's another Boom. So what I did there was a lot of double shotting. It's basically just an animation cancel to allow us to fire 2 shots at once, hence the term double shotting, which is why we were able to kill really, really quickly. So I picked up a grenade mod, which triggered Claptrap's tutorial dialogue. And we joked that Claptrap just has the highest priority in the game. So because we picked up that grenade mod and triggered tutorial dialogue, we skipped his later dialogue lines so that we could just fire the cannon immediately.
Is it safe to say that Boom and Boom went boom?
Yeah, we could say that.
Yep. Also, there's another legendary that they can drop, which is actually more decent than the Hornet. For clearing this area, gets you some XP.
Yeah, it's the grenade jumping is a lot more helpful to have than the legendary that they drop. Which is something that I didn't really go over. A base grenade boosts you a little bit, and we're going to use that a ton throughout the run to get a little bit of extra speed. We call them grenade jumps. We can either use it to get us extra distance or get us some extra height. So I'm going to use it right here to get me a little bit of extra height to take a not really intended path to Claptrap. So there's a little place you can land on right here. You can jump up and Claptrap's going to be right directly that way. So just a more direct path and less enemies that we have to worry about to get to him. So he's right over there. Just a direct path. So we have to save Claptrap. One quick nade. And they're all dead.
My new minion's a bona fide badass.
So
I did
another
see-
trigger that we have to hit for Claptrap. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did see this in chat. I think it was just answered, but I'll ask it anyways. Do badass ranks matter at all for the run?
Nope, we specifically have to disable them, and that's part of the menuing I did at the start. I think it is, at least. It is not.
Oh no, invalid. SMH. Yeah, so badass ranks are a form of New Game Plus, and they're not allowed for this run. It's a New Game run. They're also not allowed because in the past, historically, so they go up to 10 billion maximum.
That I did not know.
Yeah. Historically, in the past, if you so like a new game plus run of Borderlands 2 would be setting your badass ranks to 10 million on everything, and then just doing the game. But that also makes your game crash
That I also didn't know.
because your fire rate is 10 billion% higher, and your reload speed is 10% higher or 10 billion% higher. Yeah, it's boring and unfun to run New Game Plus. So we disabled badass ranks.
It's so that like people that have thousands and thousands of hours in the game don't have an inherent advantage, or people that edit their profile to have 10 billion%.
Yeah.
Don't have an advantage. That I didn't know. So coming up here, there was a wave that I had to clear. More waiting for Claptrap. I was getting a little bit of extra XP, and now coming up is probably one of the hardest, the first really difficult part of the run, which is Flint. We're using a level 1 sniper to do all of our damage. Plus, this is, even casually, this is more of a difficult boss. The only element that you have access to without legendaries is fire. He resists fire. His crit spot is really, really difficult to hit, which you're going to see. But I'm going to try and get a trick. If I get it, we'll go over it. Of course, I get set on fire immediately.
Walt ZZ's.
Oh,
trying
he
to set this.
instant.
Okay.
That's awkward.
His crit spot is the back of his head and the middle of his mask. So by shooting him in the chin, you're hitting the back of his head. Sort of.
I don't know how it works. I just shoot.
Yeah.
No, he was supposed to play Minecraft. He skipped his Minecraft phase, which means I was not ready for him to do that. So I didn't get the trick that I was trying for, which basically skips this wave fight. We hit Claptrap's trigger with an NPC, which progresses Claptrap forward. And I'm only partially joking when I say he plays Minecraft. He does like he takes his pickaxe and he slams the ground. So he joked that he plays Minecraft. But an enemy would hit that dialogue trigger early, which would progress Claptrap. It saves about 45 seconds or so. But because he didn't play Minecraft, I missed it. Which, oh well, it's not the end of the world. Of course I get a coach.
That's what happens if you don't play Minecraft.
That was what, 23?
23. It's not great, but it's runnable.
Yeah, that's runnable.
Figures.
Yeah.
All right. So the next XP milestone that we need to hit is level 8 at a very specific time. And if we just blitz the story here, we're not going to hit that. So we're going to turn around and we're actually going to kill Boom and Boom a couple extra times. We do this after Flint because we are much, much closer to their ship. We just need a couple grenade jumps to get there. So put right here, and this will put us on top of his ship. Yep. Hang on, this is fine. So you'll actually, through this, you'll see kind of the power of the level up bonus that I had for the story kill. So that was a relatively fast kill, all things considered, but we're gonna have a level up bonus for this next one. At least for the big boom kill. And you'll sort of see the difference in how fast we can kill with that level up bonus compared to without.
So he's just doing some weapon merging here, putting the 100%, I think, extra crit of the pistol.
I think it might just be 50%, but it's enough to be worth it. So level up there, and I missed that shot. Otherwise, it would have looked a lot better. But oh well. So after that kill, I'm actually going to rebind a little bit. I'm going to bind interact to my scroll wheel, which is going to come up a little bit later, but it's also going to give us some really fun dialogue coming up. Be warned, I guess. So we have to make it all the way through here. Try and get some XP throughout the entirety of this. Any XP that I can gather without spending too much time is going to save time later. So if I can get a couple shots, get a couple of headshots, it'll save a little bit of time later. So here coming up is some fun uses of scroll interacting.
Dangerous place. Damn it.
That didn't
cool
skip
audio.
anything. That didn't skip
an
anything.
audio.
It was just fun. That's fine. So we need to fix this catch ride station. There's a part in here that'll help us. As I don't die. Oh, some health there. So a little Death Trap. I didn't really talk about it, but Death Trap is Gage's action skill. It's a little robot. It's really helpful early game for some aggro relief. He can get some kills, get us some extra XP. Late game, he becomes entirely death fodder, which is helpful, but not quite what Gage in mind for her robot, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I think Accent's turret is still useful at like higher levels, but at 72 and beyond, Death Trap is just kind of not the most useful thing around.
And we're not even going to talk about
OP levels.
OP levels. Yeah.
The scaling. That's all there is to say about that.
It didn't get much better later on in the series either. Anyway, so I'm going to go for a dialogue skip, which is really difficult to get because you need perfect driving throughout this entire section.
The cars are finicky. Like,
That's
if you play this game enough, you learn how to drive the cars really well, and it feels fine. But if you're like just starting out playing this game, or if you're playing it casually, the cars aren't the most like graceful things to drive. So being able to hit that section of movement is really nice.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
what happened when you crashed the car, or did you crash the car? I just saw a weird effect, and now you're on.
I don't know what you're talking about. So that's an animation cancel. If your wheels aren't fully on the ground, so you see it more in Borderlands 1 that if your wheels aren't fully on the ground and the character tries to get out of it, they just kind of walk on air. They didn't even try to fix that for Borderlands 2. So if your wheels aren't on the ground, you just teleport out of your car. So it's a quick little animation cancel.
Do it right here.
I'll do it right there. So they don't even try to fix the animation or anything. They just dump you out of your car.
Yeah. In Borderlands 1, you can get out of your car upside down, which is great.
Well, probably not what the developers were intending.
No,
Maybe,
it's great.
maybe not.
It's great. It's really cool. Badass? No
So
badass.
this is the reason that I'm on scroll interacting. If for certain NPCs, if you talk to them twice in the same tick, then they skip their dialogue. He has I want to say like 10 or 15 second dialogue line right there, but since I talked to him twice in the same tick, he just skips it all and completes the quest. It's only certain NPCs, and it's not all dialogue lines for those NPCs, but the times where it is useful, it skips a ton of time. So we need a power core. Ow. Yeah, so that death warp there was intentional. The explosion wasn't. The last safe station that we hit was right next to where we needed to be. So we just jump off the cliff so that we can get into Sanctuary quick.
I mean, when in doubt, if you get hit by a grenade, just jump off and get teleported to another section.
That's honestly what I tried to do. I just didn't jump in time. I didn't jump in time, so I got caught on the railing. We're at Sanctuary Gate, and we have to talk to this guy. We're going to use his power core to protect our shields, to protect Sanctuary. So we're just going to use this power core that we got from some random psycho, as one does.
Yeah.
I'm still on scroll interact. Not quite helpful, but I already have the code from before. I'd really like that shotgun if I didn't have the coach, but oh well. So this is a fun, if anyone's played casually and has waited for Jessup for ages to actually move, cap your frame rate to 30. He moves almost immediately because
Oh my gosh.
frame rate makes a massive difference in this game, and it is very annoying.
I didn't learn that for a while.
We didn't find it out until a while, but
Yeah.
if you're on uncapped, he takes sometimes 15 or so seconds to actually move. It's kind of crazy. There's a lot of stuff in this game that's tied to frame rate, and it's really, really annoying. But that's one section that intentionally capping your frame rate is actually faster than praying and waiting for him.
So, any idea how that was discovered? Was it just someone that was maybe playing it on 30 frames and then everyone...
I'm honestly not sure. I think, Amy, you were actively running at the time when it was found, and I don't
Nope.
think I was. No, you weren't?
Nope, this was after I stopped running.
No, it wasn't.
Because I ran it, I think, either 72 or unlimited for the whole time while I was running. And so whenever...
I
No,
distinctly remember you capping to 30 during the All Quest run.
I may have capped to 30, but I don't think I knew what I was doing.
So there's another scroll interact. I'm actually gonna. So save quit does a couple things. One, it skips dialogue, and two, it teleports us to the middle of town, which is where our next objectives are going to be. And I'm gonna get off of 30 because it's gross playing on.
Bandits of Sanctuary. I hear a new vault hunt.
And then this is just so Sanctuary is the hub city. It's staple in all the Borderlands series that you have a certain hub that you go to after most of the main quests. And all of the first visits are go here, do this, go here, do this, just to figure out everything about Sanctuary. So like here are your storage deck upgrades where you get higher ammo capacity. We get more nades because grenade jumping is fast. And ammo is going to be a moot point for us in a little bit. So less fuel cell, save quit, just get more dialogue. And talk to this guy. He's gonna let us in. And then you're gonna see a couple things in my bank. You're not actually seeing them. I promise. They're not there. Nothing's there. We're not gonna need them. I'm willing this into existence that we're not gonna need them.
Borderlands is a very RNG heavy game at two specific pain points, and for marathon safety, it's always good to have backups. So
Yes, precisely. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Here we have to meet the Firehawk. We think the Firehawk captured Roland, and we have to go through actually a relatively difficult section. That's a nice jump that you can do with the cars if you can get the get the car movement well working. That's one shot, so I'm not actually going to use that for this section. So coming up is why we need to be level 8 at a very specific time. So this next area, for whatever reason, has a SMG that's just kind of in a puddle that we're going to take a detour to grab. It's a guaranteed weapon. It's actually probably one of the best SMGs in the game, honestly.
yep, right behind the B, or not the B, the Sandhawk.
The Sandhawk.
Yeah.
Sandhawk's the best, but especially without DLC, it's probably one of the best in the game, which is wild that it doesn't even drop from a dedicated source. But this area is really difficult because we still have our starter level 1 shield, or level 3 shield, and enemies hurt.
Oh, you picked up on it. Did you not change your shield?
Nope.
Yeah,
I
so
do that later.
the one you picked up out of the puddle, or the loot thing right at the beginning. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I'm still using.
yeah. Anyway, Frostburn Canyon is really hard.
Yes.
There's a lot of enemies all around, and
A lot of enemies.
Specifically,
You
like-
want to get a lot of XP too.
yeah, like the
this is one
spider
of the
ants
big
are
XP
pretty hard. Yeah,
Yeah, so this is not the area that we're supposed to take to go. But this is where the SMG is. And we're just about at level 8. The SMG is level 8, which is why we want to hit that. So I'll pick it up. And I think one more kill. Oh no. Hang on. There we are. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So this is the Let's Go. Guaranteed spawn every single time you load into this map. And if you just travel in and out, you can actually get multiple spawns of it. It is a phenomenal SMG. Not even just for the speedrun sense, it is just a really, really good SMG that if you didn't know about, now you do.
And if you're playing in UVHM, it levels with you. So you can get a max level 1 for free.
Oh, nice.
It's actually probably one of the first. You hit level 72 or level 80, depending on what patch, and just go get there and free weapon that's on level for you.
Yep. There's a reason the ungeared save uses a Let's Go. It has a Let's Go starting off. Because it's just free to get.
Yeah. So there are a couple of spots that they're guaranteed badass spawns, and I didn't really go over it before because it's not too important, but every enemy has a chance of spawning as a badass, which is basically they do more damage, they have higher health, but they get a lot more XP. Some of them have a chance of spawning, some of them are guaranteed spawns, so we go for the guaranteed badass spawns just to get a whole bunch of extra XP, which we can kill fairly quickly with really good SMG and with a lot of good damage merged.
Yeah. Badasses are great in a couple of places, like here in the Firehawk fight coming up. He's going to get a bunch of badasses, and that's really good because they give something like 250 XP per level.
Yeah,
or per kill.
I think we kill 6, 7 throughout the course of this area.
Yeah.
And that's how we have enough XP. Part of the reason, so they give 400 XP per kill, pretty much. And just taking a little bit of time to kill those is how we have as much XP as we do.
Yep.
A little bit later.
But the danger is that, like you said, any enemy can spawn as a badass. So like earlier when you ran into Corporal Reese, which is the guy laying on the ground that we talked to real fast, those enemies can spawn as badasses. And if they do, big problems.
Yeah.
It stops becoming as much of an issue at level 10. But even then, badasses are still just kind of annoying to run into because they just have a lot of health.
Yep. So we met the Firehawk, and turns out the Firehawk is just Lilith, the Siren from Borderlands 1. We're getting into the part where we're meeting the Borderlands 1 Vault Hunters, who are NPCs throughout the course of this game. We met Roland, sort of, the soldier from BL1, and now we have the Siren from BL1. So if you notice, I've been on scroll interact this entire time, and what we have to do is we have to revive Lilith here. Which is a problem because you can't hold the scroll wheel. So luckily I have a controller plugged in, and I can use that controller at this spot and this spot only, so that I can hold down the revive button to actually revive Lilith, and I'm not going to use a controller for the rest of the run.
So I guess that negates the question that is it better to run can you do piece or can you do controller with this?
That's why I said mixed, because of that specific instance. And the reason that we want to be on scroll interact is right there. We scroll interacted on Lilith to skip all of her dialogue. It's like a minute of dialogue or so.
Yeah, if you have to pick one, keyboard mouse is better, but both is better than keyboard mouse.
Yeah, both is technically the answer, but only because of that one instance right there. So this is just a way fight. Kill as fast as you can as they spawn. Good.
It's like keyboard mouse plus.
Yeah.
So these are pretty much set spawns. Kill as fast as you can. It's kind of funny if you look. They just kind of spawn in midair and jump in. They don't do like a run up or anything. The ones that spawn from behind, if you look, like he just kind of. Let me see if I can get another. Yeah, there we are. He just kind of appears out of nowhere. Which was actually very interesting hearing devs on call for previous runs just saying like it's not a huge priority that you see the animation. It just lets us make more content. So 2 more badasses we have to kill. Sniper, which is really, really good.
Yeah, they also do the spawning of enemies in this game in a really interesting way. Just like in general.
Okay. So we killed that. that wave, and then we're going to do another scroll interact on Loth to skip wherever dialogue and just turn in the quest immediately. Then save quit to get back to the start of the map. So I'm going to do a little bit of shopping. Oh, Jacob Sniper 2. That's really good.
Long Rider. Okay.
Yeah, I have the coach, which is way better.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a bushwhack.
Oh no, it was white. So, where we're at the story right now is basically Firehawk didn't have Roland. There's a group of bandits called the Bloodshots that actually do have Roland and are going to try and sell him to Hyperion. So we're going to try and get into their stronghold, and they're going to say, no. Hello? What am I stuck on?
Oh yeah, that's real, by the way. I can't believe you ever run into that. That's actually real. Yeah, you have to be really careful with that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just not used to it. I don't hit it all that often. So we're going to try and get in. They're going to like, yeah, no, we're not letting you in. So what we have to do is basically Trojan horse our way in. We're going to build one of their cars and pretend that we're one of them and get in.
Ignore the fact that all these cars are open topped and they can see you directly.
You know, we don't talk about that. They don't see us. They just hear it. We honk the horn, so they hear their horn honk.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they let us in. Trojan horse, I think. So that was Ellie that we just met. We skipped her cutscene because we drove our car into the save station, which means we can just save quit and skip it and spawn right next to her. We can do that with most cutscenes in this game, is just save, quit, and skip them. It's just a matter of, do we spawn close enough for it to be worth?
So I did see this question in chat and said, did you already explain the reason for not reloading? Like how much extra damage do the 50 stacks do?
So the 50 stacks is a skill I spawned and spec'd into a little bit earlier called Anarchy. And for every enemy you kill, and I think
every base reload. Yep.
Every base reload gives you a stack. Every stack is 0.75% damage.
1.75.
1.75?
Yeah.
There's math in there. That it does a lot of damage whenever it builds up. So if you manually reload prematurely, then you lose all of your stacks. So that's why I didn't reload there. It's helpful. I didn't really need to. You can do a little bit of a glitch called inventory reloading. Every weapon that's in your inventory has a full clip already. So if you just swap weapons with what's in your inventory, then you just automatically reload, skipping the animation but also not losing your Anarchy stacks.
So do you have reload on a normal key, or are you like me?
Yes, I have reload on a normal key because
Can't
reloading
relate.
reloading is how you double shot, and double shot is just as important.
Can't relate. I hold the button. I have reload bound to equals.
Yeah, you can't do that and double shot. So I just
stretch your hand real far.
So I guess unlike like arcade games where you'd shoot outside, you'd like move your mouse outside to hit a button to reload.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your keybinds make zero sense.
My keybinds
I know
are normal.
your wife will agree with me.
No, my keybinds are normal.
Can't relate. So here we have one of the bandit cars, and we're gonna drive up, and they're gonna hear the bandit horn honk, and be like, "Yeah, you're one of us. We'll let you in."
That looks like one of ours.
Okay, never mind. They say looks like. I got nothing. I got nothing. I gave them an out, and they were just like, "Nah, I'm not gonna take it." So this is actually one of the. So you'll see, I got one stack from killing that enemy, and I manually reloaded, and it went away. So this is actually one of the more difficult parts of the run. At this point, we're getting super under-leveled. You're going to see Badmaw has a red skull next to his name, which basically means he's a lot higher level than you. You're going to do less damage, and he's going to do more damage. Go away until you're higher level. But we have glitches, so we say, nah. The glitches make it easier, but it's still really difficult. So I'm going to allow Death Trap so that he focuses on him, and I can get a lot of shots into him. I didn't quite kill him. There we are. Okay, that actually went really well, all things considered. And then the reason that I'm still in scroll interact is if you just scroll the bridge quickly, it drops quicker. Normal gameplay mechanics. So
So
that was
is there
actually a
anything-
really good demo fight.
Is there anything special when it comes like that boss fight or some other boss fights that you're gonna need where it's like you have to, like how in the first boss you had to look around for a specific weapon?
No, he can drop like weapons that are useful. So Badmo doesn't have any like specific drops in his loot table that are useful, but he can drop blue, green, and I think purple weapons sometimes, depending on his level.
I don't think so.
Also, you just bump him off the thing there, and then he dies.
Yeah. So I'm doing a specific setup with my grenades, and by doing that, he gets hit by the grenade and he just falls off, and we get the XP. You can do that for the story kill too, but you need to pick up the key to lower the bridge, so it's usually not faster to do so. So the reason that we're killing him a bunch of extra times, just short, but I think I can use the sniper to get the XP I need, is we need to hit level 10 before we can progress forward in the map, because this is where we're going to get the quintessential Borderlands glitch. There we are. We're going to save code just to be safe. So this is also the part where we can get really screwed over by RNG. So this is why I have those weapons in my bag. And I'm going to turn on my stopwatch, and I'm going to give it 2.5 minutes. And if we still don't have what we need by then I'll go to my backup.
So the goal here is he's looking for a Vladoff launcher and possibly a better Jacobs shotgun. This is the first major pain point of RNG of the run. The second one's not as bad. You can get by it if you really have to, but
Second one's just as bad.
You can still win the run. This one you cannot continue the run if you don't get this gun. So the Jacobs shotgun, like you said earlier, is going to be used for its specific attribute of can fire as fast as you can pull the trigger. And funnily enough, that's not exactly accurate. With scroll shooting, we can fire faster than the fire rate cap of the game. So
We can fire faster than we can faster.
yeah, we can fire faster than we can pull the trigger.
You can fire faster than as fast as you can pull the trigger. There we
Yep.
go. That's what I was trying to.
Yeah,
So there's the Vladoff launcher. That wasn't a bushwhack, was it? That was
No,
a
it's a long rider.
Okay, so we're gonna run with the shotgun. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I've had far worse.
So rebinding here to put fire on scroll down, and I think that's where it's going to remain for the rest of the run, unless you change the scroll
For the-
interact later.
Nope. For the rest of the run.
All right. So for the rest of the run, scroll and fire is going to be scroll down, and that's because Easy has a free scroll mouse that you can unlock and free scroll as fast as you want to. Shoot the Vladoff launcher once, and then swap away and back to it, and that sets up the infinite ammo glitch. And then you scroll down, and now you do this.
Oh no!
And this is gonna be it for the rest of the run.
Yep.
So while that's happening, I'm also gonna be setting up for an out of bounds. In case I don't get extra nades for backup. It's fine, I'll just hit it.
Yeah, just super skip first try every try. So
Yeah, it's
levels
easy.
don't have ceilings. They're really difficult to get out of bounds normally. This is one of the specific areas where you can, because this entire area is kind of shaped like a U. So if he jumps up
I
here,
jumped too early. That sucks.
shoot. All right. Well, now he can just basically run in a U shape around the level across all of this geometry. Some of these ceilings are real. Some of them aren't. It is basically just trial and error if you're a new runner to learn what's real and what's not. And if you mess it up, you go into speed jail and then you have to reset.
There's two different versions of speed jail. One where you're just falling infinitely through the bottom of the map, and then other speed jail where you fall into a later portion that you can't get out of right now.
Yep. Speed
you
jail
have to
1
save
will
it to get out.
eventually kill you. Speed jail 2, you have to reset.
Yeah, so that's real, I promise. So this gets us to the very end of the map. This specific area is the only reason you can do this right now is because there's no triggers throughout the entirety of this map. So the only thing you have to do is just get to Roland.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fake waypoints throughout the map. That it'll update as you go through, but again, we learned that all you have to do is hit that one at the start and then hit that door.
Good to finally meet you in person.
Yep.
Hell of a job
So this is
finding
Roland
those
again.
bloodshhots.
Borderlands 1 Vault Hunter. We've been hearing him a lot, but now we actually meet him.
This will just take a second.
He's captured by the Bloodshots, and now Hyperion is being captured. Can't seem to catch a break.
Someone pointed out to me years ago that it says "you die" on the wall behind him.
Yeah.
Now I can never unsee it.
What? No, it doesn't. I don't know what you're talking about. If this was literally any other category, I could play that off and say, "Oh, he doesn't." But this is the only category that you actually watch. Spoiler alert. Yeah. If you're watching a speedrun, then I guess you're bound to hear spoilers. But
the one thing we'll say is that from now on, until the rest of the run, ZZ is not going to be safe quitting.
that's not true.
Oh, do you safe quit an Overlook now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for one part, ZZ's going to be safe quitting, and then for the next part,
No,
he's not going to do it anymore.
once we hit an hour, we're not gonna, also Warden's definitely real. I didn't just jump through him or anything. So the reason that super skip is faster is because you actually land behind Roland's jail cell, which means you can start running past his jail cell much earlier. It's about 45 seconds faster, I want to say, to hit super skip than to not. But hitting regular bloodshot skip is still faster than going through it normally.
Stop them before they get away.
So where Badmaw was really difficult because we were starting to get underleveled. We're still underleveled, but we have all these glitches, so enemies are super easy to kill. So the game gets a bunch easier at this point. The main difficulty isn't in staying alive, it's more in still trying to move fast while trying to kill enemies. Not slowing down and trying to kill enemies and keep up with your XP. Because there's our next, I want to say more of a soft level cap is going to be level 12. We want to hit that at a specific point. If we don't, it's not the end of the world, but we do need to hit it at a certain point.
Yeah. One of the major difficulties of moving this fast is getting shot treats it as if you're off the ground, so you can't jump. And the big meme in the Borderlands community is that jumping is 1% faster, because it is. But
Except whenever you're trying to also jump. So a neat little grenade jump there to skip having to go all the way around here, and then there's a save station over here. See? Save quit. So we hit the save station through the wall, and then save quitting skips a wave fight that happens right after, and just saves Roland without having to fight the enemies attacking him. So we turn in here. It says to meet him back at Sanctuary, so we'll meet him at Sanctuary.
So every time ZC save quits, that undoes all the glitches that he had. So he's going to have to redo infinite ammo, and he's going to have to redo glitch redacted. We'll talk about that one later.
So coming up here is actually going to be one of the bigger time saves that was discovered, which is going to be dialogue skipping through quest swapping. So every side quest that you have in the game has an intro dialogue line. It basically tells you, hey, this is what I need you to do. Go do this. Go get him. Go get him, Tiger. And that dialogue has really high priority. So it can skip other lines of dialogue whenever you play it. But if you pick it up under other high priority dialogue, it saves that dialogue line. So we'll get to it a little bit later. The first skip isn't for another 5 minutes or so. But that's why I picked up the side quests. We're not going to do any of the side quests. Actually, the 90% run I don't think does any side quests. Base 90% does... Base 90% does cleaning up the Berg and Bad Hair Day just to get a sniper, but 80% with DLC doesn't do any side quests. But we're going to pick up a lot of them for dialogue skips. So gonna light these records on fire and save quit to skip Mordecai's cutscene.
I saw this in chat, and someone said they're laughing so hard with the gun exploit, and I have to agree.
Oh, absolutely. So,
the animation of the gun is just hilarious.
so I kid you not, the gun exploit is the reason that I started running this game. I saw Amerlin's run at GDQ and saw that and immediately downloaded patch 1.1 so that I could do it myself. And then ended up being, oh, I have the patch. Might as well learn the run anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, we have. I will puff up the community a little bit. We have a really good community for learning pretty much anything. There's a ton of tutorials for things. We have
And more tutorials in the works.
Yeah,
Too.
we have almost every major patch available in a down patcher, because there's some categories that are better on certain patches, and some categories that are only doable on certain patches. Like this one, this is fastest on 1.1 because it still has the infinite ammo. But yeah, like if you want to learn Borderlands 2 speedrunning, you should. It's great. The run is
so much fun.
pretty easy because of the infinite ammo and a bunch of glitches you get later. So yeah,
And
please check it out.
Yes.
And one thing that I actually really like, see if I can, one thing that I think is actually really cool about Borderlands 2 in particular is that no matter who your favorite Vault Hunter is, there is a category that they are best at.
Yep. We have individual categories for all 6 Vault Hunters because they all work so differently.
Yep. So the fastest new game completion is with Gage. If you don't want to use any DLC or don't have any DLC, the fastest is going to be Zero, who's also the fastest at the highest difficulty, but without any gear. Salvador is the fastest at the max difficulty, but with gear. Axton's the co-op runner. Maya's the
Current patch.
glitchless runner. Current patch, glitch free. Or I guess glitch
less in quotes.
And then there's Krieg.
And then there's Krieg is great. He's limited by the fact that he can only do 1 stack of infinite ammo, which means he can only use certain guns, and he's chunkier than the other Vault Hunters, so he doesn't grenade jump as high.
Yeah. Honestly, he's one of my favorite. He has such a unique route because of that.
Yeah, he's great.
Plus, just the patch he's on gives different benefits. One of the other DLC weapons is the Skyrocket grenade mod, which those of you who've played a whole bunch might be asking why I'm not using that, because it's a really good grenade mod. On current patch, on this patch it is very, very bad. So that's why I'm not using it, but on Krieg's patch it's really good, so you do use it throughout the Krieg run is so much fun.
Yeah, that's the Skyrocket is actually a really common question from new runners, where they'll come in and be like, "Hey, I noticed your Gauge run, you didn't use a Skyrocket," and it's like, "Well, yeah, okay, so they buffed it in like 1.8, which is way down the line because they noticed no one was using it."
Yeah, so we picked up the donks. We're gonna hijack a train, just casually.
I mean, as you
No
do.
big deal. Yeah,
Not so big of a deal.
So Tina's the explosive expert, and she's going to help us blow up said train.
There was a good amount of love in chat for Tina.
I like Tina.
No comment.
I don't think. Yeah. She's not for everyone. I like her better than Pickle from the pre-sequel, which I know you like more.
No comment.
So anyway, this is going to be the first instance of quest swapping. So this is Lilith's side quest. She's going to tell us what to do. And because of that, we skip Tina's dialogue line, which is actually, I think it's a funny line. But we skip it because it's slower. So, and then we're going to do another, while we were playing that, we picked up her side quest, which means now we have her side quest that we can use to skip other dialogue lines with.
Yeah, you kind of chain stack quest skipping throughout this game, and one of the like I said, this run is really easy to learn in terms of like just the glitches that you do, right? Because it's set up infinite ammo, set up level 12 glitch, beat the game. The real challenge in the optimization is
that's a Lucan.
Is like learning and remembering what quests you've used, because you get a lot of them,
So that took more time to kill, but that gave me like 2,000 experience, so it was worth.
Well, that's good.
So we hijacked the train, and that train has Wilhelm on it, and it's slow to run to Wilhelm, so instead we're just gonna down ourselves right at the start. Since we haven't moved, we haven't activated any save stations, so the game's just gonna put us at the fast travel, and luckily for us, the fast travel here is right next to Wilhelm, so we save quit there to skip the respawning animation, and so we don't lose any money from dying.
Don't worry. If Jack really
So,
wanted to protect the Vault Key, it wouldn't
here's
be
where Wilhelm's gonna be.
Wilhelm guarding it. Oh dear.
Yeah,
And-
if you pay attention to the story, they really set up Wilhelm as this like big, unbeatable, like super boss guy.
Got a very important task
And
But-
he's dead.
Unfortunately,
I have to ask this question because so you said Wilhelm's like a boss, right?
yeah.
That is a boss, yes.
Yeah. So I have to ask, when you defeat Wilhelm, does Wilhelm scream?
I
don't
think
know,
there-
because we skipped the dialogue. So if he did scream, it got skipped by Tina.
I know there are Wilhelm screams in this game, though.
Okay, I'll accept that. But if the Wilhelm doesn't have a Wilhelm scream, it seems like a missed point, and I feel like Borderlands would know to do that.
Yeah. This game is, for better or worse, very deeply embedded in meme culture. Yeah, there's some really good ones, and then
I'm a
there's
12-year-old at heart, so I love it all.
Yeah, and there's some really bad ones.
Wilhelm nearly defeated the other Vault Hunters a couple of years
So
ago.
we had to go to Sanctuary, but we had to go to Sanctuary Gate instead of Base Sanctuary. So it's faster for us to just go to Three Runs Divide instead of to actually go to Sanctuary. So we're going to use the power core that came from the Hyperion boss that we just killed, which is a phenomenal idea. Basically, what's going to end up happening is it's going to infiltrate Sanctuary and screw us over so that Jack can attack us. We're going to save quit over at this specific point after we hit the fast travel station actually in Sanctuary so that we miss all that. And then while we do that, we're going to use more Claptrap tutorial dialogue to skip other dialogue instead because Claptrap has the highest priority in the game. And that could skip that line too, but it took a bad route, so I didn't get that there. So coming up here is where we're going to start checking for the next RNG section, which I didn't get there. We need an upgraded shotgun to finish the run. And at this point is where we're going to start getting level. I have my audio fixed for this game.
No, I was gonna say the quad on the loading screen, man.
Yeah, I've learned to stop paying attention to the loading screen because there are so many good weapons that you just cry if you see.
Yeah. Yeah, so at this point we're looking for a higher level shotgun. It's totally plausible to finish the run with the one he has. It's just
really
way worse. We've done it.
Yeah. So co-op's different.
I've done it
Co-op's
solo. It's not fun. It takes forever, but anyway, we just skipped the Sanctuary cutscene.
What ended up happening is to save Sanctuary, Lilith used her siren powers to teleport it somewhere. But the problem is we can't get back to Sanctuary. Driving?
Car driving. It's great.
So what we need to do is we need to get Sanctuary back in the fast travel network, which again, phenomenal idea. But so that's it's an interesting design choice, game philosophy wise, of just locking the player out of the hub world, which also locks some other side quests. So you can't turn in. You can't turn in any of Lilith's side quests because she's in Sanctuary, and we can't get to Sanctuary. So it's definitely an interesting design choice.
There's also
so
a couple other
where-
quests. Yeah.
Yeah. This is where we want to hit level 12. I'm really bad at getting XP, so I'm way short. So I'm going to slow down a little bit in this next section so that I hit level 12. I'm going to blame it partially on the fact that I only have 23 damage on my shotgun. You can get as high as like 39, 40 damage at this point in the game. So
It's all based on parts and rarity.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too into it here because it doesn't make a huge difference. Just no higher number good, lower number bad. But lower number is still feasible and workable. So,
Told you.
So higher number equals good. Lower number equals just not as good.
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
That's actually a really good way of putting it.
To put it in
here.
I was going to say, to put it in perspective, the next shotgun he's going to grab is going to be somewhere in the range of like 70 to 80 damage.
If I'm lucky.
Yeah.
It's more likely going to be like 50 to 60, knowing my luck.
It's still like double damage though. So
Yeah, basically. I think the lowest you can get is either 45 or 54. Not entirely. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's one of somewhere in that range is the lowest you can get. Which is, again, still double. So what I've been doing here is I'm checking, of course I don't have one, I'm checking these shop vendors because I want to get an amp shield. Amp shields start spawning at level 15, and these vendors are level 15. So we're going to use an amp shield a little bit later in the run. So we just need to farm a little bit over here. This is a super quick farm, just because you spawn right in front of the... that's really low capacity, but it's really high damage, so we'll see how this goes. We'll explain why it's broken on this patch a little bit later on whenever we start using it, but just know amp shields are going to be incredibly broken coming up soon. So here we found Sanctuary. There's a lot of dialogue that we're just going to save quit to hit, save quit to skip. Basically, we're supposed to look at the fast travel and see that Sanctuary isn't in the fast travel, but the quest objective is just hit E on the fast travel. So if I jump while I do that, I skip having to actually look in the fast travel.
So I did have a question about the grenades that you throw. Are some timed to be a specific way? Like, do you wait to a simple second to throw? Or do you just throw it willy-nilly? And
a lot of it has to do with physics. So if you do a grenade jump off a cliff, you're going to keep that grenade boost for longer just because you're going to be in the air for longer. But a lot of them are routed out, actually, for when you're going to do grenade jumps. And then there's a visual timing for when you want to jump, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get more distance, if you're trying to get height.
And also, having fewer grenades makes grenades spawn more often in crates. So that's why he's just chucking his grenades all the time, because it's really easy to get more.
Yep. So you're supposed to... The intended path here...
easier. And going on top. I never knew that one.
It's actually one of the more recent ones. Last time Dark Smoke started running, was he found this, and you're supposed to ride a little thing over there to get across that. So I'm a little reckless with my nades, but you're supposed to ride that across. There's a previous strat where you just jump on top of the crate delivery thing. Instead, we just kind of walk across the water to get across. And then here's the thresher. So we're trying to get a new fast travel station so that we can program it with Sanctuary's new location. So obviously this random monster has a fast travel station. And this is where having low damage is really bad. There we are.
He regens a ton of his shield really quickly, but if he had high enough damage, he could blow through the shield fast enough.
Yeah. So this is where we're going to really start seeing my damage fall off coming up, which is fine. We'll make it work, and I don't know, maybe we'll get level 14 shotgun so we don't have this for too long.
Yeah, so I believe.
I don't. That's why I have backups. My RNG, my practice for this was atrocious, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Actually, this RNG split was really good. It was the first one that was really bad. So I'm fully expecting this to be really bad, since the first one was fine. So this section is one of the most annoying sections casually, and in the old version of the speedrun too. I know Amy knows about this area way more than I do.
Yep.
Because I was running after this particular skip was found. So what's supposed to happen is you place a beacon. Angel finds where she's supposed to send the new fast travel station. Jack tries to stop you by sending waves and waves of enemies. It's a massive wave fight. There's a timer that you can go too fast for. It's awful to do optimally. But actually, I need that. So instead, we're not going to do that wave fight. So we're going to deploy the beacon, and we're just going to save quit. Save quitting breaks the beacon, and we're going to go run over and repair the beacon. And repairing the beacon 8 times makes it invulnerable. It turns it into an invulnerable state. Basically, the game takes pity on you and says, you're having a real hard time keeping this beacon alive. We're going to keep it alive for you. Just focus on killing the enemies. Really, really helpful on higher OP levels where scaling is, as we said, atrocious, where like one bullet from enemies can break the beacon. But once the beacon reaches this invulnerable state, if you just save quit, it completes the quest objective.
You can also travel. That works too.
And you can also, traveling works too. It's what's used in co-op, because we have someone just standing at the travel, and because we don't want to save quit in co-op. However, for new game, we want to save quit a whole bunch because we're farming this vendor for a new shotgun. There was a shotgun, but it was single barrel. We need 2 barrels because single barrel just, as we said with Krieg, single barrel just isn't enough damage for us to finish the run.
So yeah, ordinarily this section is it's been so long, at best 4.5 minute section, where you have to do a wave fight, but it's between 4.5 and like 5 minutes 15, where if you don't complete the wave fight in exactly that amount of time, you either get a huge delay or you get more enemies. Either one is bad. So
I want to say it was closer to 6 minutes.
I think you're. I don't know, but
I could be wrong because I didn't run with that. But
yeah, FC knows the actual values, and they explained it to me once. And then I immediately forgot about it because we like
stopped doing the fight.
Yeah, stopped doing the fight. But UVHM, this skip was discovered because a UVHM runner was getting really annoyed at doing this section, and was like, "I'm gonna find a way around this." And he found that if you so there's a glitch you can do in the geared run, where if you shoot the beacon with a certain gun and then drop the gun, it breaks the beacon. And I think he did it with that.
It does friendly fire damage.
Yeah, it does friendly fire.
Break the beacon, which is fun if you're playing with your friends.
Yeah,
you can just kill them without a duel.
Yeah, I think he started out save quitting to break the beacon, or maybe traveling. But then we found out the limit of 8 times. So it's really great. Now we don't have to do this fight anymore.
It's a double-edged sword, I want to say, because it's way better than doing it normally, but it also turns it into a really boring part of the run.
Yeah. You also miss out on XP.
Yeah, you miss out on XP, which that's been the name of any percent for God knows how long. Just how much XP can you cut out and still finish the run? There we are. That's the worst I can get.
Oh, there was one right above it.
Was there?
Yeah. 2 above it.
Oh. That's much better.
See?
It's 14, which is good, but I saw the Hyperion grip and was immediately disappointed and stopped looking. I guess it tells you I look down to up instead of up to down, which is interesting.
I look up to down. But yeah, this run solo used to finish around level 21 or 22, I think, like way back in the day. And ever since then, it's just a challenge of how much XP can we cut from the 80% run. I think currently it finishes level 19.
19 to 20, depending on how pretty much how good your shotgun is, because that's how fast you can kill. Yeah, I'm bad at getting XP, so I frequently finish at 19, but 19 to 20, high 19 to low 20 is about when you finish.
And it's actually pretty ridiculous because the damage fall off is really high. It's something like 90% or 96%, something like that.
Yeah. So that was the last save quit in the run. we go there until until we spend too much time there that we have to reset, or until we get a shotgun, basically. Because even though it's technically possible to finish, you lose way more time having a 20 damage shotgun, 30 damage shotgun than you spend just looking for a new one.
We'd all be dead.
So what I did there is a glitch with Gage's skill Buck Up, which we spec'd into a little bit ago, and we could have used earlier if I was level 12 a little earlier. Basically, if your shield is below max, Death Trap will shoot a beam at you that will instantly recharge your shield. However, if you have that beam active on you while you travel to a new area, that beam never goes. Basically, the game kills Death Trap's entity, but it doesn't kill the beam. So the beam is just perpetually on me. So for the rest of the run, my shield's going to recharge instantly. This effect also stacks. So throughout the entirety of the run, I like that a lot better.
That's better.
It's way better. Throughout the entirety of the run, I'm going to be getting as many buck up stacks as I can. And eventually this is going to mean my shield is going to go from 0 to full instantly. It gets really ridiculous, and again, we'll get to it a little bit later whenever we get with amp shields. But if you know the properties of amp shields, you know how incredibly strong this will end up being. C, the B. So what I did in Sanctuary was I got a whole bunch of side quests. That's like the big side quest gathering for the run. I don't have that quite yet, which is fine. So that was the big side quest gathering for the run. We're still going to get a whole bunch more, but that's a good chunk of the side quests that we're going to use for dialogue skipping. So that was another buck up stack. You can see whenever I get it, because as I enter the new area, I'm going to have the blue shimmer around me. There we are. Shield. I want names. I can barely afford names. This is fine. I'm not broke or anything. Luckily, I pretty much have everything I need to finish the run. I don't need anything more to finish. And you can sort of start... So if you're blitzing through the story, and doing only the story like we're doing and no side quests whatsoever, this is where the game is like, you're starting to get under-leveled. Go back and do anything else before you continue here. But we have glitches, we're speedrunners, we're not going to do that.
To be fair, in a normal playthrough, if you're playing this casually, you actually wouldn't get here this under level because you'd be killing all the enemies.
What do you mean? You and I play this game very differently casually.
All right, well, yeah. My wife is a completionist. She does everything. Oh, no.
I did see a question in chat that a lot of people in chat are possibly answering it, but I'm going to ask for the sake of the VOD. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live event, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern, weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And the question was...
That was a phenomenal segue, by the way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That it's someone who wants to go off and maybe run Borderlands or FPS. They tend to get maybe motion sick if they can't go on for 30 minutes at a time. Is there any tips or tricks to minimize that or to reduce it altogether?
I think I definitely saw the answer in chat. Definitely FOV is a big one. I run this game co-op with a couple of other runners that are Pacific, which is why they couldn't make it to this one to commentate. But we all run at different FOV, which is really funny seeing all three of our screens at the same time, because we could look at the same thing and it'll look completely different.
By the way,
FOVs hurt my eyes, so I run at a lower FOV.
By the way, whenever you're ready to take a break, let me know.
Breaks are a little difficult at this point. I'm good to just keep going throughout the rest of the run. The break would have been a little bit better right after the RNG section, but I'm good to keep going until the end, if that's okay.
Could also do one right after Bloodwing.
What was that, maybe?
Could do one right after Bloodwing if you wanted to.
We could do that, yeah. So
yeah, FOV.
FOV is a big one, and motion blur.
Motion blur for sure,
which I don't think is in this game.
I think it it is, but you may have to use a console command to turn it off. I don't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's also just a thing that some people have problems looking at FPSs. So
Yeah.
a couple of my friends just get really motion sick every time, and so I don't know.
Okay, so we haven't really talked about this, but this is Wildlife Exploitation Preserve. It's actually one of the more difficult parts of the game. Because, again, as we mentioned a little earlier, we're starting to get really, really underleveled. And especially at this point, my shotgun's starting to fall off in damage. But also because there are a lot of skips in this area that don't necessarily save time as you're doing them. Basically, the idea of this is there's a boss that we're going to kill at the end, and we need to depth warp out of the arena so that we can get to the fast travel faster. And so we're going to skip every single new save station throughout the course of this area. So we have to do a lot of skips at new stations, which are a bit difficult to hit. So we have to do these skips to avoid them. And then at the very end, we can down ourselves and depth warp to the very start.
Very sorry for anyone who gets motion sick there. Aiming down sights and firing infinite ammo is very bad. Don't do it.
Well, yeah, it depends. So that's where parts of your weapon come into play. If you have really bad parts, it's impossible, pretty much.
There's a glitch only in co-op where you stack effects of guns, and if the parts you stack are bad enough, you can wind up completely 360ing your view vertical.
Yeah, that's
It's
kind of rough.
Yeah, it's great.
So this is one of the there's a new use station that's right over there. So it'd be faster to just run forward through the door, but instead we're just going to go through this ceiling that doesn't exist and do this out of bounds. Technically slower if you're just trying to run through the area, but because we're trying to death warp and we're trying to avoid save quitting at this point, it ends up being faster in the long run. So there's one more skip that we're going to do like that coming up as well, which is actually a really difficult skip. Probably the more difficult one in this area.
Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest. I think the first jump here is honestly really hard, but that's...
Oh yeah, this is the one that I mean.
Yeah. And I guess we'll throw out another explanation. Well, hang on. I'll let him hit this first.
You can explain.
Hang on.
I'm going to jinx myself with that. Now we're good.
Nice.
That's a really
Okay.
tough
Yeah.
one.
that actually is ludicrously hard. It's so tight. And then the door
And
isn't
then that
real.
Door exists, I promise.
Yeah, and then we just get out
Over
bouncy.
here.
So for people who are coming in late, we have infinite ammo because Vladoff rocket launchers have -1 ammo on every third shot. And on patch 1.1, they didn't quite error check it correctly. So if you swap away and back, you stack the -1 modifier onto your character. So you just do that enough times, and then now you have like -2, -3, -4
Ammo consumption.
ammo
so
consumption. Yep.
It evens out to consuming 0 ammo.
Yep.
And then I'm using the property of the Jacobs shotgun, which fires quote unquote as fast as you pull the trigger, with free scroll mouse that's with shoot bound to scroll. So it fires incredibly fast.
Yeah. I think the fire rate cap of the game is something like 16 shots per second. And we can easily hit that with a free scroll mouse.
Yep.
So Bloodwing is a actually pretty difficult fight if you don't know exactly how to control her. If you stand in this exact spot that he's standing in and you jump, she does not move.
Jump.
And yeah, keep spamming jump. She does not move and just
What?
immediately phases. And then you just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes she gets away from you.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
way easier.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do a quick little dialogue skip,
In a fit of extreme paranoia, I hid
and then
my
we're gonna get this upgrade for Claptrap and just look away.
forgot their locations. While I
And if you just don't listen, everything's fine.
Yeah. Nothing's happening.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 So you might think, oh no, he died. Well,
I did.
he did. But Anarchy for Gage works really weirdly in that you lose it if you die, but you don't lose it if you never saw your character die.
So we skipped our falling over animation of dying.
Yeah.
So we just keep all our anarchy.
Yeah, if you get squished, if you fall off a ledge in a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why Life Exploitation Preserve, and I think good place for a break.
Yeah. Just give it 3, 2, 1, and we'll stop. We'll pause the
3,
timer.
2, 1, stop.
All right. We're going to take a small little break. Everyone's going to get up. Nice stretch. Use the wall. Use the bathroom. Get some water.
Use the water.
Use the water. Yeah.
Use the water. Get the bathroom.
And don't
Wash the
forget
whole
that.
room.
Don't forget that Fright Fatales has gonna have a one-day event on October 23rd to celebrate spooky season with dark, scary, or horror-themed speedruns from the Frame Fatales community. Use !Fright in Twitch chat to learn more about this one-off event. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Bargain Bin showcasing speed games all under $20. Real quick before we get back into the game, your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick. With both Hotfix and Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 costs. By the way, Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online is going to be January 8th through the 15th. All that goes in there. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. And with that, I'll go ahead and toss it right back to ZZ and Amy for more Borderlands 2.
All right. So we're paused right now, but we can get started back in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So we picked up an upgrade for Claptrap. Basically, that's going to help us bypass a barrier that, of course, only Claptrap can bypass totally. So we're going to deliver that to him right now. That's what we got from Bloodwing. So going to give it to him. We can technically skip this dialogue, but it's better to just keep the dialogue skipped for a little bit to use later, because it only skips like this last line.
It also has really weird priority. Like, I remember doing co-op runs and trying to skip that second line, and sometimes we would do the exact same thing and it would just play.
Yeah. Happens with Borderlands.
Yep.
So we're going to go back to Hyperion. So the way the map layout kind of works is there's your main hub city, and then there's 3 different areas that are kind of secondary hubs that kind of branch out into later maps. So the first one was Through Horns Divide, which branched off into 3 others, and now that's not where I want to be. There we are. And now the Highlands branches out to 3 later maps. So we're going to be at the Highlands a bunch. So another second buck up, and we have our new shotgun that's not the worst that we can possibly get. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. Higher damage is better.
A bigger number, very good.
Yep.
So we're going to swap to that, which is going to make a huge difference in this area. So we met the three of the Vault Hunters from Borderlands 1. If you can tell by audio, this is going to be the 4th one brick.
Whoa.
So we just kind of have to run through this area. What? Spoilers. In my speedrun, I could never. So we just have to run through this area. Again, we're going to run into issues where enemies are really high leveled. So they're going to kill us really quickly, even though we can kill them really quickly. And we're technically still using a level 8 shield, which not the greatest, but we have an upgrade coming soon.
Yeah, so
so just run
the
through
next level breakpoint is coming, and it's level 15. Usually you want to hit it around brick or slightly after.
Ideally, you hit it in this wave fight, just because there are a lot of badass enemies that are guaranteed spawns that give a lot of XP.
It's easy, I was giving you an out. You gotta be like, nah, dude, it's totally normal.
I mean...
Yeah, but yeah, the next breakpoint is 15, and it's for that shield we were farming for earlier. And that's when Gage really comes into her own. Because like every other character up until this point can do this same kind of thing. Like every other character can do infinite ammo. They can't all do buck up, but they're all invincible in their own special ways.
We also completely overlooked one of the other reasons that Gage is really, really strong, and that's the skill I spec'd into after Anarchy, which is called Close Enough. And the whole reason that your show is called aimbot, basically every pellet that hits a wall has a 50% chance of ricocheting directly into an enemy, and that damage reduction, it has a little bit of damage reduction, but that doesn't matter when you're firing thousands of bullets.
By the way, we never did actually talk about aimbot, Amy, if you want to take a second for that.
Sure. I run a show every other Tuesday night. It's not tomorrow night. It's a week from now, where I showcase a bunch of FPS, first-person, third-person shooter games in general that are really good. ZZ was actually the first person on my show. He did Borderlands 2.
This exact run.
Yep. So, yeah, aimbot's sick. First-person shooters are sick. Bargain bin is
There's
sick.
the command in chat.
All the shows are sick.
All the shows are sick.
Yeah.
They are.
But yeah, ideally, I already have my amp shield, but like I said, bad at getting experience, so it'll be a little bit later. I know you gave me the out, but I don't care.
You can just lie. Nobody's going to know.
I'll bash myself any time of the day.
Yeah, there's... so we were talking earlier about how any enemy has a chance to spawn as a badass. That's not good.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
There's...
I think I have an out. Oh.
Guess not.
Well, at least the animation of you falling was there.
Yeah, but that also means that I lose my 50 anarchy stacks, which is fine.
Not great.
We'll be fine. This is just the dog in the fire.
Yeah.
I was trying to break the barrel so that I could grenade jump up here to avoid these mortars that are getting shot at us. Instead, I caused my own mortar. Also, so that I can get this chest, which can sometimes have an upgraded shotgun for endgame, which would be helpful, but oh well, this will be fine. So this section's entirely an auto scoop. What's that?
I totally forgot what I was going to say. I was going to mention something. Oh, yeah, badasses. So this area has a couple of designated badass spawns, but a lot of these like gun loaders and other things that are going to be spawning are pretty much designated as they can't be badass, which is really nice.
These buzzards can be badasses, though.
Yes. The buzzards are not part of the wave fights.
There we are. So, level 15, much later than it was supposed to be. But we're 15. And this is why amp shields are really, really strong. For whatever reason on this get away from that. Okay, we're good. So for some reason on this patch, they didn't calculate how to apply the amp damage to multi-pellet weapons. So on current patches of the game, I think I have like a 120 amp damage shield. That 120 damage would be split across all 13 pellets of my shotgun. Instead, on this patch, on this patch, it's applied to every single pellet of my shotgun. Oh my god. That is a good shield. There we are. I'll take that. So that 120 damage multiplied by 13 is a very high number that I'm not doing the math for. But it's why Gage's damage just... Ow. That's also not good. This will be fine, right?
I believe.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
I believe. Frank stole my kill. That happens.
Yeah, so this
Usually
is the
it's not Brick
danger
that does that.
when you like lose anarchy, right? Because
it's less
now
the
you're doing way
it's
less
more-
damage.
It's more the a lot of your damage at this point comes from your amp shield. So just not having amp shield in and of itself is really bad. But also I have a really low capacity amp shield, so the mortars just obliterated me because I have low shield capacity. It's fine. This will be fine.
Also, there's a fun bug where if you turn bullet decals to low or off, you can't see the mortars. So don't do that. I learned that in a run once.
Yeah, I have them set to high enough that I can see them. I just didn't look. I was too enamored by the shield that I got.
To be honest,
So,
no idea.
turns in the quest here, and we're getting a whole bunch of quests in Sanctuary in HQ.
But we've little time. Get to the city of opportunity. To breach
So,
the
opportunities coming up.
chambers. To be Jack.
And again, this is another point where the enemies are really high level, so they do a lot of damage, so they really hurt. But because we're really broken with this amp shield now, we just kill them even faster. So, and you start to see the effects of Gage's buck up skill in that I'm not getting any delay. So the quirk of amp shields is you sacrifice your shield health for damage. And
Reach the final door to my chambers. You
I'm
need
barely
to
sacrificing it because of how fast it's recharging instantly, and it's recharging really, really quickly because of how many stacks I have stacked already.
It's a classic quirk of Borderlands runs. You can never have a Borderlands run without some unbelievably awful audio glitch that happens in the run. So I hope you like hearing the shield recharge noise because it's going to be happening a lot.
What do you mean? It's not that bad. At least it's not the boar bug. Or the boar, I don't want to say bug. Yeah, that was
It's not even
technically
a
the
bug,
boss.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
so,
a good audio glitch, though.
yeah, there's one coming up. I wouldn't say it's a glitch. I'd say it's more they didn't record all the voice lines,
Oh, that's even better.
Well, and
which is kind
double
of funny.
bunker happens sometimes too.
That's more of a co-op thing. I've found it happens a lot more in co-op than it does in solo.
Yeah, you can tell how much I play co-op.
You mean that's the only thing you're in?
Yeah.
Just activate a few more kiosks.
Yeah, so the couple of steps that we have for how we have to take on the next step in the game is claptrap to bypass a barrier, and then there's a voice activation lock. So we need to emulate Jack's voice, which is why we're getting all these info kiosks, recording this into his pocket watch, which is also something that we have to emulate to get past the barrier. So that's kind of classic Borderlands. Go here, do this. Go here, do this. But we got all four of the kiosks. We got Jack's voice, and then we'll use a dialogue line here to just interrupt it and skip it.
Attach the pocket watch quickly.
And then here's the one coming up. I'm guessing because Gage was released after the base game. Here's one more dialogue line here, or quest to skip dialogue coming up. But I'm guessing because Gage wasn't released with the base game.
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2.
You're gonna show them what a
And now
bad
I have the
idea
voice
that
of a
really is.
douchebag.
They'll
Great.
borrow Moxie's camcorder.
Jack's voice actor didn't record Gage's line.
Yeah, they didn't put in Jack's voice actor there because this is the first patch that Gage is available on. And so Gage just says
Kinda
she has
makes
the
fun of
voice
herself.
of a douchebag, but in her own voice.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call it a glitch, but still funny regardless.
Yep. It's fixed in later patches. And Krieg doesn't have that issue either.
Honestly, I didn't know that it was patched in later patches because anytime I play Gage, it's on this patch.
I only know that because I did a casual playthrough once on a later patch and was surprised that it was fixed.
This is it, everybody.
Wow, I am so far behind on XP. I'm supposed to be level 16 here, but
And I'll climb up to control core angel.
we'll be fine. Be fine. There is a lot of dialogue here. Right around travel through runs. There is a lot of dialogue that happens here. And most other characters would save quit to skip the dialogue line, but because glitches go away whenever we save quit, we don't want to be save quitting throughout the... Sniper's nice. We don't want to save quit throughout the rest of the run, so we just travel out and travel back in. I get some extra grenades because grenades are always good to have, so I just travel somewhere that has easy grenade access. So we need to get Claptrap. This is where we're taking on Jack's big scary bunker. So we totally need Claptrap to get around said barrier.
Is it
bunker.
just me, or does Claptrap kind of always look like Wally?
Was coming after me. It's time to take the I'll need you.
Which one came?
I mean-
No, it must have been Claptrap.
I actually don't know when Wally was released. I mean, he's a playable character in the pre-sequel, so you can change how he looks in that game. You can turn him into a trash can instead.
Yeah. Trash can skin is perfect, and it's what you need to do the death flames.
Now, I have to ask by trash can, do you mean a literal trash can?
Yep.
Yeah. He has a skin that he is shaped like a trash can. It's actually, I think someone has an emote for it on Twitch. It's pretty great.
I did a run at GDQ of the pre-sequel and wore a trash can that I cut holes in for 2.5 hours. And it was one of the most painful experiences of my life.
It's absolutely worth it. So this is the barrier. If we touch the red, we instantly die. So we need Claptrap to disable that so that we can totally get around that barrier.
Hey, you coming or not? Oh, right. You're not
Yep. Thanks, Claptrap.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Thanks for the help, Claptrap. The only reason we need him to get around this barrier is to actually progress the story objective. We can get around this on our own with just a simple grenade jump.
The danger is if you step in the middle of that highway too quickly, Claptrap will soft lock behind the thing.
Yes. So I had to take a specific path to do that so that I didn't soft lock him. So this is where despite the glitches that we have, this gets really, really difficult because the enemies start doing a lot of damage, and we start to get really underleveled. And whenever we're being shot, so I can't jump.
Oh.
This is what I said earlier, where if you're shot, you're off the ground, and
Yep.
it just won't let you jump.
Hang on. We're good. Everything's good. Okay.
Everything's
fine. Everything is fine.
So a lot of why this build is powerful is because you're firing a ton of bullets directly at an enemy's crit spot, and so they take a ton of damage. Unfortunately, these two turrets don't have crit spots, so you just gotta kind of fire at the ground and then hope that they die.
Yep.
But
that's where Gage is close
well.
enough skill that we were... Yeah, I have a really high damage shield, which means I'm killing enemies really quickly despite no anarchy. It's high damage because it's low capacity, so I'm dying really quickly.
Yeah.
So I just need to kill 2 of those surveyors to spawn this badass constructor, which is guaranteed to spawn as a badass. And then I have to kill him to open this door, which you don't need to do to get around the door, but you need the door to open to progress the story. So common trend in Borderlands
is shield sound.
Isn't it great? I honestly
fantastic.
tuned it out. It's completely tuned out of my brain at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So many times that I legitimately don't even hear it.
Yeah. So I play Gage in co-op. ZZ plays Axton, so it's completely different. But obviously with the single player runs, both of us have just completely tuned out the sound of the shield recharge.
Yeah. And for TPS, hearing the echoes over and over and over again, just completely tuned out.
Yep.
Too.
White noise.
Pretty much. So this is the bunker area. So we have help from Brick's bandits, but they're getting destroyed by these. Dang. One more try. One second.
Try it again.
Technical difficulties.
There we go.
I see nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening.
We'll
this
edit
is
this out.
an awkward grenade jump.
Edit this out in post.
Perfect.
There we go.
First try.
Perfect.
First try.
First try. You have to go all the way around. So I think even despite me missing that would have been faster than me taking this entire path to go around. So we have help from Brick's buzzards, but these turrets are kind of destroying the buzzards. So we have to destroy them for them. This section is entirely RNG with where the turrets spawn and when they spawn. So you're just at the mercy of RNG for this, which the starting pattern isn't great.
Yeah. And the back of the turrets is their crit spot. There are only a couple that are like pretty well positioned to hit the back of them really fast. Because ZZ's going to be trying to stay up on the center platform here most of the time because this is where most of them spawn.
But then I get the one that spawns really poorly.
Yeah, there's one that spawns in the way back.
But I got a good spawn there. Unfortunately, I start shooting it so it starts turning.
Yep. And unfortunately, aiming down sight.
It's really good because you get extra accurate. Your accuracy does go up whenever you aim down sights, but
Yeah.
it makes the recoil incredibly difficult to manage.
Once we bust this bunker, there's nothing to stop you from grabbing the vault.
So 4 more, I can get that one really easily, and then I think the rest are just on this platform. So there's a lot of grenade jumping just to navigate this really quickly. These last ones weren't terrible, especially this last one being right here. So we killed all the turrets, and I want to position myself in a very specific spot right here. I'm actually going to spec into more healing. So this is the bunker. The bunker is not just this area. Oh, I just unmerged myself. Oops. So this area isn't the bunker. This is the bunker. And it's actually a difficult boss that has 2 different places that it can perch on. Yeah, I don't know why I swapped. But he has 2 different places he can perch. One is right in front of me here, which looks like we're not getting that. Standing right here makes it more likely for him to perch right in front of you. But unfortunately, it's going on the other side. And of course, I got the bad cycle too. So where he perches is random, and then what he does after he perches is also random. He can either sit still and do nothing, or he can fly around like this, which makes it more difficult to... It's basically just how many crits can you spam into him. And him moving like this makes it more difficult to spam crits into him. So this is going to be a difficult kill because of that.
I mean, you're
But my
making it
shields-
look relatively easy right now.
Well,
He's being really nice. Bunker
Yeah.
stays for a random amount of time. And this is actually extremely nice.
yeah, and that was a perfect amount of time too. If he's in his still phase, then breaking his side turrets is the trigger for him to fly away. So it's just hit the stationary target and then break the turrets whenever you down his health. But otherwise, it's just get lucky and hope you get enough damage into him. So after you get enough damage, then he goes into his death cycle, which you just need 1 more bullet to kill. So this is where we need Jack's pocket watch. Do a quick little dialogue skip so we don't even hear what's happening. And then we use his pocket watch as a bioscan. And then the store is just going to magically open. The benefits of skipping all the dialogue in the game. It's just stuff happens. You don't hear why it happens. It just happens.
Yeah.
And then
So elevators are slow.
Elevators slow, so we're just not going to take it. And we'll see if I can get the cool.
The bunker dunker.
There we are.
Nice.
Nice.
So slick to watch.
Nice.
Really fun to get whenever you get it perfect.
Yep. It genuinely does save time. It saves like 10 or 15 seconds or something like that. Overriding the elevator.
Oh yeah.
And what was it called again?
Well, I
We
call
just
it
call it the dunk.
I call it the bunker dunker because I am unbelievably brain poisoned.
We just call it a dunk. But sure, we can go bunker dunker. We can go bunker dunker. So one downside of having all these glitches built up throughout the past, I think this has been half an hour since we save quit, is save quitting loses a ton of time from not having those glitches. So we just kind of have to sit through all these cutscenes. All the other characters and runs just kind of save quit and progress to this next part. But because we're playing as Gage, unfortunately, this is the part where Gage loses time compared to the other runs.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have to sit through this.
Saves like 45 seconds now, and then another 45 to 50 later, if we could save quit.
But you lose way more than that by save quitting and losing all the backup stacks.
Yep.
That it's just not worth it. So this is Control Core Angel. This is a 6-minute auto scroller.
As I've said every time on this channel, whenever this run comes up, I still have a bounty up for if you find some way to skip the injectors, I will pay you I will give you money for figuring that out, because this is the worst section of the game, hands down. It's not hard.
It's phenomenal for me. It's phenomenal for me right now because it means there's a lot of enemies that I can kill to get my buck up back.
Yeah.
Because someone was not very smart and shot a barrel that exploded right next to them.
I didn't see that.
Oh, I was gonna say it's easy. When the next shock field spawns, do you want to show off how good buck up is?
I broke them all.
Oh, okay. I missed the first three. But yeah, the buck up is so powerful that you can just stand in one of the shock field generators and it'll...
I mean, I can probably just stand in these turrets that spawn.
Yeah, it won't kill you. Any dot at this point cannot kill you.
Yeah, I mean, just fire. I mean, okay. Whenever I get shot by these assault rifles, then it kind of makes a difference. But these fire turrets are just kind of minor nuisances.
Yep.
That I have to kill to progress the quest, more so than actually killing me. There are turrets later on that do hurt a ton, but these ones are...
I don't think it's been asked, but when you have that second or two before you die, and then you get a second wind, how does that actually work in the game?
Do you mean the amount of time that you have?
I mean,
Yeah,
fight,
like
do you mean
fight
fight for your life or...
Fight for your life, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a timer that kind of counts down every single... I don't know the formula specifically, but I know the casual players and specifically the one knife players know how it is that you kind of recharge and reset your fight for your lifetime. But every time you go into fight for your life, the time gets shorter and shorter.
But fun fact, it does loop. If you get to the shortest possible fight for your lifetime and then live it and get up, which it's maybe like half a second. So you have to more get lucky than anything else. It will loop back around to the full fight for your lifetime again.
Yeah, I think it's a certain amount of time not being in fight. I don't know the full formula to reset it, but there's a way that by not being in fight for your life for a certain amount of time, you reset to the longest time. So there's not much that we can do to speed this area up. A couple of things that we can do are the dialogue skips that I'm going to be doing, and then Roland follows the host character. Like wherever you go, you'll have Roland following you, so you can kind of lead him to the next parts he needs to be at. The only problem with that is if you get an enemy that spawns in the exact opposite side of the map that Roland needs to be, you can't really lead him because you have to go near the enemy to kill it. So those are about the only real ways that we have to actually speed up the area.
Yeah, because as you know, ZZ's base philosophy is just run up to them and jam the shotgun in their face.
Pretty much. And just, I guess as a testament to shouldn't say that now, a testament to how easy this area is normally. There have been times where I forget to pick up my shield after getting buck up, and just don't have a shield for this area, so no amp damage, no survivability, no shield, and I've been able to make it all the way through the area without dying. It's not a difficult area.
The angelic guards are the really only difficult part because their crit spot is so tiny, and they have a relatively large amount of health.
And they spawn with two weapons, so if it's two really good weapons, it can hurt. The laser that they fire is much better than the laser that these turrets fire, so it actually downs you. But we're just about done with it, which is really good.
Actually, if I have a second, sorry.
No.
Under the map?
It's under the map.
Cool.
Lovely.
Cool game. So Borderlands 2, the way it spawns enemies is it spawns them in the spawn box, and then it moves them to their spawn position. But sometimes it doesn't spawn them in their spawn box.
So the way you would fix this is to save quit, but I don't want to lose my buck up. So I'm not going to save quit. I'm going to lose all my anarchy, which is kind of inevitable at this point. But
yeah, so
the
solution...
Did the enemy die?
Yep. Oh, no.
No, it didn't.
Maybe?
Let me in. Okay, we're good. The solution is I'm just going to travel out.
How you doing over there?
I think that resets the start of the second injector.
It does, but it means that the enemy spawns, so I can...
Shields down.
Or it...
Yeah, so the
resets the
solutions
second,
there are
okay.
either reset the area like this or wait X amount of minutes until the enemy falls out of bounds and dies.
How you doing?
This is normal. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm... this is actually a certified... This has never happened to me. Personally, at least. I know it's happened before to other runners, but it hasn't happened to me, so I don't know what's happening.
I did a lot of... oh, yeah, right. That happens. So look at the cool undersides of the shock things now.
Nice shot.
Yeah. So we got it in this state. So me and Shockwave were doing testing a while ago to like figure this out. And obviously we never figured out how to skip this area. But it like some things broke and others didn't. This area is very weird. I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Huh. This is an interesting moment.
Just
I'm...
Do you
I
have a
don't know what's
backup past
happening
this
anymore.
point? Because I legitimately have not seen this before.
I might just save quit and restack my buck up.
That might be best.
Yeah.
just a little. What?
Just...
What?
Just... Yeah. I don't know what's happening. Okay.
Someone in chat just asked,
is-
were those collision boxes?
I don't know anymore. So I think this reset to the very start of... Yep, that restart to the very start. Hope you liked Control Core Angel, because we're doing this again from the start. But I also don't have any buck up, so I probably should have done that first. Okay, this is... It feels so cliche to say, but this hasn't happened to me before, so we'll see what happens.
First try.
First try.
So now we get to talk about this area again.
Yeah, so this is Control Core Angel. This is basically an auto-scroller. It lasts 6 minutes.
If I have time.
You have plenty
Of time.
It's just highly coincidental that this game was released on September 18th, 2012.
Yep,
So we
the
almost
10-year
hit-
anniversary just happened.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just a little bit past the 10-year anniversary of this game.
So we get to see
What a game.
what other characters get to go through in this area by not having buck up. And you get to sort of see the difference that buck up makes. Yeah, there were a lot of shift codes that were... I think they gave everyone a double penetrating unkempt herald if you redeem the shift code.
Yep. And Lyudmila.
Lyudmila. I don't have any of my dialect skips anymore.
Not a
This is
Lyuda,
fine.
because they messed up the
Not
name
a-
for that.
This is fine.
Or is Angel a sniper?
So I guess one of the things that we really haven't mentioned, because now we get to fill time and talk about interesting Borderlands things, other than this 9-minute or 6-minute auto scroller. You'll notice that when he gets hit to really low health, he's at about like 70 or 80 health for a little bit before he actually dies. That's called health, like this. That's called health gating. An enemy can't one-shot you if you're above a certain percentage of your health. They'll always knock you down to health gate and then kill you. And health gating is a huge way that you can survive things that you're not supposed to.
So you could be level 1 and take 10 million damage and you'll still survive it as long as you're above half health.
Yep. Granted, you don't survive it for long. You survive for a little bit and then it kills you.
Yeah. Especially if it has a dot attached to it.
Yeah. which most enemies at higher levels do.
Yeah. Sad enemy. He's 2 dots. It's fun. Level bonus, so we get a new shield at the very least.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So,
Think of the positives, right?
yeah. New shield.
Life good.
Life good. I guess this is making up for the how far behind I was on XP earlier.
Yeah, the game's trying to help you
Just
out.
having, yeah. So we get to watch roll and I'll do his spot again. I think this is over halfway done this time around, so not too much longer.
Hey, do you think one of the funny things about Borderlands or Gearbox releasing all those shift codes for items is that none of them actually matter to speedrunners? Because people would be like, "Oh, it's a double penetrating unkind herald. That's like a pretty good gun," and it is. That is a pretty good gun. Unfortunately,
do
you can
this
just
with it?
save edit the game, so we can just have that gun anytime we want.
And it's really good with Salvador, with just Salvador being a buggy mess.
Yep.
But aside from that, it's actually not guns.
Guns vary.
Guns, because they fall off after a certain amount of time. Like we noticed with all these glitches with these shotguns, that it's usually just you get it for a little bit, and then after a while, it stops being useful. So,
Well, the depot was level 80.
oh, true.
Yeah, so it'd be like
I don't have that
Endgame.
dialogue skip. Yeah, so we don't really have runs that start at end game with no gear that it'd be helpful for. And for runs that do start with gear, if it's helpful, we just save edit it in. So, anyways, just a couple more waves left and we're done with this again. Hopefully.
Hopefully nothing weird happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
There's actually one of the other runners, BGM, had this happen to him in a run, and there was some funky out of bounds that I don't know how he found it or how he remembered or thought to do it in a run, just from how rare that is to happen. But he missed the last jump, and it uses all 5 grenades to get to. Otherwise, he would have been able to kill the enemy from out of bounds and then death warp back into the arena. Yeah, that's fine. Death warp back into the arena and fix it. It was actually super bad. Okay, both enemies spawned. We're good. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Good.
yeah. So
And I still have that dialogue skip because we didn't get it there the first time.
so otherwise the
out of
enemy will
this
fall way out of
godforsaken area.
bounds and die, and it just takes like 3 minutes.
He's a total fool, but at least he won't try to kill you.
So we're finally done with this area.
Now we're done.
First try, right? First try.
First try.
Just try. Okay, so one last dialogue skip just to instantly turn this in. And then, unfortunately, the only run in the series where we actually watch this cutscene. And there are a lot of categories, and not a single one of them watches this. So, if you haven't played it, you're watching this for the first time, maybe close your eyes, because massive spoiler alert. That definitely wasn't talked about or alluded to an hour ago.
Also, I know it's seemingly like something we don't really talk too much about, but the designs of the characters and the design of the Borderlands world in general is just so unique.
Oh, that's what drew me to the game casually initially. I just love the atmosphere and the
Yeah.
just art style of the series. I like 2 in the pre-sequel a little bit more than 3, but I still think 3 is really, really unique and innate.
Yeah, I think 3 is fine. I
think it's fine. I prefer
they
2,
definitely, yeah, they definitely shot
The 3
themselves in the
is
foot
fine.
with 2 because 2 is really good.
Yeah. So I have 1 stack of buck up now, which is good because now my shield regens immediately. But I'm gonna try to get a couple more than I would normally.
I feel wrong. This device
So,
using
yep.
me.
So that's a major turning point in the story. And actually, whenever I played casually, it was super shocking to me. At this point, I've seen that cutscene so many times that it loses its effect. But I remember it just being really like devastated at the time whenever I played it casually. But I also care way too much about stories in games, so
I mean, same. I play a lot of RPGs, so same.
understandable. So here we're gonna make our way to the 3rd hub map in the game. Oh, I don't have a bandit technical. We didn't really talk about it at the time, but for whatever reason, the bandit technical is way faster than the saw blade technical, which is why early on I was doing a whole bunch of fast, fancy menuing to get to the bandit technical.
I mean, if you need a new vehicle, that's one way to get a new vehicle.
Just blow it up.
Just blow it up. That's actually strats. I don't know if you noticed, but whenever I killed my car, I got a kill skill. So that's the orange little icon that's in the bottom right of my little HUD. And it's the next skill that I spec'd in that I didn't really talk about too much because it's not super important. But it's a skill called Unstoppable Force. Every time you get a kill and kill an enemy, you get like an extra 10-20% move speed, which we don't really have anything else we spec into that's super important. So it's just another added thing that Gage has that makes her really, really strong. But killing my car gives you kill skills. So it's actually strats in a couple of areas to kill your car so that you get your kill skills. It's really funny.
That's great. That's great.
So this this is already in play. This is the next little hub map. And it is just a massive driving section, but it has a really neat skip that hopefully I can get. It's another instance of just trying to deal with the wonkiness of Borderlands cars. So if I boost in this and turn in this very specific area, I almost got it. Oh, no, not quite. I boosted onto the wrong rock. But if you can maneuver the just general wackiness of Borderlands cars to get up to, yeah, we'll pass it later. But get up to right around here so you avoid having to take this path. It's a difficult one. I have a setup for it, but I don't always hit it. But it's a more direct path that saves a little bit of time. So I'm actually going to... I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to get out of my car and get another stack of backup so that I have more than one. Two will be fine. Sawtooth Cauldron is probably the most difficult area in the game in just about every category for different reasons, which is really, really funny. This area, again, we're starting to get incredibly underleveled if we weren't already. But the added benefit of this area is there are a lot of enemies in a really confined area. So we haven't run into any spawns, but quite yet. We can take a more direct path to where we need to go to the chevron to the objective. And by hitting that, we're going to start spawning a lot of enemies that are
a lot of really high level enemies.
High level enemies in a really tight area.
Yeah. They also have shields, which like isn't a huge problem normally, but when you have to think about close enoughing around their shields while a bunch of enemies are also trying to kill you. I don't even do that.
I just shove my face into the enemy.
Yep. I mean, that's it. You just run up to them and shove your gun inside their shield.
And generally, you have enough buck up. Usually, it's fine. But because I lost all my buck up, it was a little bit more difficult than before.
So you actually mentioned it earlier, Midnight. With Fight for Your Life, it gives you a 50% damage bonus when you get up. It's not as reliable as the 100% level up bonus, but it's something.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Yep.
So that was a fun grenade jump. That's really interesting in the speedrun community because just about everyone has a different setup for that grenade jump. And then there's a trigger right here that just kind of exists in midair. You're supposed to run down Main Street to the end of the street to hit a trigger, but for whatever reason, there's just a ball trigger floating that's really tiny and difficult to hit. But if you hit it, ow.
It's literally a pixel wide.
Yeah.
And people found it with a hitbox viewer.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, so the modding community for the Borderlands series is actually incredible with what they can do with the series.
Yeah.
Just adding brand new guns, brand new enemies, that's gonna kill me.
There's brand new maps too in Borderlands 1.
Borderlands 2 too.
Yeah,
Jules has been working on it. Okay, I'm just gonna. I might have killed it. Not quite sure. Yeah, it's wild with how much the modding scene has grown and evolved and what they can do. That there's a mod that just shows any trigger and every hitbox and every piece of collision that we've used a ton. We don't use it in actual runs, but in terms of like routing and trying to find different things, it has been immensely helpful.
That is actually super cool. That is really awesome to hear.
Yeah, and then even for casual gameplay, it's super, super fun playing some of the mods. So, kill the boom.
It really. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Kill the Boombringer and then skip this dialogue line so that there's that enemy that we just killed his ship for is gonna come down and have some words with us. And skipping that dialogue line just makes him spawn faster.
That's a conveyor belt, not a proxy. It just makes you go faster.
So, this is a boss, sort of.
Sort of.
If we had buck up, it would be way easier.
Yeah, that's going to be a common theme throughout the rest of this end game. But we'll make it work, especially since I have a new shield that does a lot more damage. So, go up here. I'm going to lower the elevator because if I do end up dying here, it's going to be a pain to wait for the elevator again. So we're going to lower that. And then this is another difficult area. We haven't talked about it too much because... Thanks, Death Trap. We haven't talked about it too much because it hasn't been too... It's not as prevalent solo, but it's way more prevalent in co-op. The game has a spawn limit cap on how many enemies can spawn in a map at a time. Did Death Trap just get a kill?
What a gamer.
What a gamer.
So Death Trap does not have the advantage of these glitches to kill things, so it's way harder for him too.
Yeah, like I said, at this point he's just death fodder early on. That actually wasn't that bad. He's a lot more death fodder at this point, and that's why I let him out. But he got me a second win, so props.
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
I don't even know where he was going with that. Oh well. There's the next area we need to get to. We're just gonna blow up to get there. Just common Borderlands things.
I'd recommend stacking buck up here, maybe.
I don't have Death Trap.
Yeah, but
because I let him out.
I don't know.
We'll be fine.
Okay, you know what? I believe you.
We'll be fine. He was honestly supposed to die because this is a routed place to stack buck up because he almost guarantees dies there. So you get him before you have to travel out. But since he's a gamer and just kept himself alive that entire time, we'll be fine. Everything's fine. Yeah. So
First try.
First try.
First try.
So we're into, I think, the third to last major area of the game, Arid Nexus.
In terms of splits, fourth to last, but it's definitely towards the end, and it's another super difficult area. Yep. Two specific points. So this is actually one of the routed plays. So I'm gonna kill my car here, and now I haven't moved faster. So actually, I'll get back. I'm gonna get back up here.
Poor car. Poor car.
Yeah. So this area is difficult, and we're just going to be saying that for the rest of the run. Every area is difficult from here on out, but they're all difficult in specific different ways. This area is...
I think a very common trend is enemies hurt.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
We're extremely underleveled.
Yeah, but they all hurt in very different ways. Sure, that works.
What do you mean that works? That's intended.
No, intended. But this area, you have to fight a lot of enemies in really tight spaces. And since we are so under level, a lot of what Gage does is hit enemies before they can hit her.
Or just not hit enemies.
Yeah, or just not hit enemies and run away.
I can go through here, right?
And yeah, if they're this close, it's kind of difficult.
Can I get us? Okay, so cars don't give second wins, unfortunately. I was hoping.
They also kind of bring back the angelic guards from earlier in the form of RPG loaders, which is basically the same enemy, but with
Except
rocket
they have
launchers.
launchers.
And
Yeah.
they have very tiny crit spots. So this is, I think, the worst part. Is
This is
Pump Station
absolutely.
2.
That's not even like a thing. This is absolutely the hardest part.
me personally. I think this is the worst part for me. But yeah, so this is Pump Station 2. Everything in here is super tight. It's basically just a one-way corridor. And if you get really unlucky like this, the enemies spawn early.
Right in front of you, and they kind of spawn with shields, so they just kind of one-shot you.
Yep.
I tried to take a path.
Sergeant loaders. Sergeant loaders are like angelic guards, really tiny hitbox, ton of health. They're really tiny crit box.
Yeah, I'm trying to down enemies while I still have an amp shield, so that it makes it easier to kill them whenever I get downed. When I don't have an amp shield, and this is a part where we actually die in a very specific way to save anarchy, like that.
Perfect.
Perfect. If that was wrong, that was actually perfect. And I think it saved my one anarchy stack.
Yep.
It did. Let's go.
Nice.
So once again, we didn't see the death animation. If you go into fight for your life and fall off a cliff, if you get squished, and a couple other ways, then you just don't lose your anarchy.
Yep. My one stack.
Yeah. It matters more when you have more, but...
Yeah, Gauge Max is out at 150 stacks, which is an insane amount of damage. I don't know the math. I think it's like an extra 200% extra.
150 times... Out. 7/4. I don't know. Someone smarter can do the math.
Or someone that has access to a calculator. So those are why launchers are... Jesus. Why launchers hurt. That just kind of obliterated my car, which has like 10 times the health that I have. So we have a car, and we just kind of ram right into it. Now that we increase the pressure using those pump stations.
It's like Crazy Taxi, but not a taxi.
I mean, we can change the skin to make it look like a taxi.
So Relkin did the math for us. 262.5% extra damage.
Perfect. Yeah, so
Which is a lot.
it's a lot. And then the damage formula is really, I don't know how it specifically applies or what order the crit damage and the anarchy and the amp shield applies. But it's 250% extra damage, which is really, really strong.
Jeez.
Do you normally get there in any percent runs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Usually by a control
Sure,
car angel.
Yeah. So this is Saturn.
So a
Nobody
lot of our
likes
damage
him.
comes.
Not
A lot
a
of our
fan.
damage comes from crit damage. Saturn does not have a crit spot, so instead we're just gonna go Death Trap.
The strategy literally is throw Death Trap at him and hope Death Trap distracts him long enough that he does not
For you to
kill
run
you.
past. Yep. So Death Trap died, but Saturn's just gonna chill on the floor.
Is that
So
why
we're
it's
able
called
to
Death
just
Trap?
run I don't think that's what the devs intended, but it's basically what we use him as.
I mean, it's the history of Gage as a character is pretty funny because this is the character that and I'm quoting the devs here, and it's an incredibly stupid comment that they had, but they said that Gage is like the quote unquote girlfriend character because she has an aimbot skill. And I just think it's really funny that they were like, oh, this is supposed to be the baby character that you play with someone who like doesn't know how to play FPSs. Turned out to be literally the best character in the game for speedrun.
I feel like that kind of happens with a lot of games, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason that we use the super strong aim assist is just because it makes the game easier so we can focus on other things.
Yep.
And I got Death Trap back at a perfect time to get another hookup stack. So
Nice.
perfect there. There's a hitch that I got there that was not intended that terrified me. But we're good. Everything's fine. Nothing. I'm not going to say anything. So we're going to turn this in, and we're actually in the final story mission of the game, which is 3 more areas that we still have to go through. Lucky for us, the first area that we get to go to requires Claptrap to help us, and he's going to be so helpful in getting us to the next area. So we're going to make our final trek to Iridium Blight. That's the pathway to the last final boss arena. And Iridium Blight. And then you saw a little bit earlier, I picked up the side quests from this bounty board, and we're going to use them in this area as the last couple dialogue skips that we have to do. So this is the other part of the run where we intentionally take our anger out on the car just so that we move faster.
No.
And like I said way back at the beginning, the beginning was full of Claptrap and the ending is full of Claptrap. He can't open the door until you beat a bunch of waves of enemies.
I thought you were intentionally just shooting at Claptrap there for a second.
Oh no, there are enemies that were killing me, but I can absolutely just shoot at Claptrap. I think there was a donation incentive at one, or not an incentive, but like a donation that was just, I'll donate more if you unload a full clip into the next Claptrap you see. Which, we have infinite ammo. We never run out of ammo. I can't unload a full clip. So this is another pseudo auto-scroller that's pretty much only time-gated by how fast you can kill the enemies and how fast the enemies spawn. There are ways that we can speed things up.
Having more anarchy is a good way.
Hey now. I have a 250 damage amp shield, which is insane.
Yeah, that is
gonna
really high.
That's going to be good enough. But also, yeah, anarchy would help. I have 16. It's helping.
That's enough.
So, again, this is a lot of just waiting for Claptrap to try and open the store and fail miserably for most of the time. Case in point.
That said, it is totally possible to get around behind this door. And if you can actually get into Heroes Pass early.
You can get to the final boss area as soon as you get access to Iridium Blight.
Yep.
Which ruined my bingo routing.
Yep.
Because I routed it around the story quests, and one of the story quests for that was just defeat the final boss, as if you had to do everything or do challenges in the final boss arena. Mm-hmm. But you can do those as soon as you get access to your Iridium Blight, and I forgot about that.
Yep. Gearbox.
So these turrets really hurt, unlike the ones in Control Per Angel. So I'm actually just going to go up here and get rid of this one, because otherwise it's going to kill me.
Yeah, Gearbox coded the main story of Borderlands 2 really solid. The side quests, not so much. The side quests break all the time. But thankfully for all quests broke. Okay, that you did something weird there. That's not.
I did no such thing.
But yeah, the main quests break, but for all quest runs, we know how they break generally, so we can adjust around it. But if they had coded the main quest like just slightly worse, if they had made it based on like when you enter an area or something like that,
it would be a completely different run.
Yeah, we'd farm a lot more XP and then just rush Iridium Blight to the warrior as soon as we could get in here.
So this section, of course, I didn't get to spawn there. This section's interesting. There are surveyors that spawn, which do not have crit spots, and they fly around and are really, really difficult to kill. So the strat for it is to wound an enemy and not kill it, so that the surveyors kind of come down and start repairing it, so that they're a lot easier to actually kill. But you have to wound certain enemies, because for some reason the surveyors don't like these enemies that spawn in front of the door and won't repair them. It's such a baffling quirk that you have to wound these outer loaders to get them to actually come down and protect their buddies.
This is also another instance where like getting a badass enemy is bad, because badass repair surveyors, you can see he can't close enough onto them, so he basically just has to like raw hit them with a gun, and that's not the easiest thing at high anarchy.
Yeah. So, like we said, we can. So, like we said, we can get around. We can get around the store. Actually, you don't even need to nade jump there. I don't know why I did that.
Swag.
Swag, yeah.
And bam, we're around the door. Thanks, Claptrap. Every door that he helps us open, we can get around without Claptrap's help. And I'm gonna get another stack of buck up here, which I wouldn't normally get.
I will lead you into battle. I will destroy Handsome Jack with my bare hands. I will.
And then unfortunately we skip a kind of funny line. Claptrap realizing it. I love that they've kept it like consistent in the pre-sequel, and actually referenced that singular line in a couple of areas. But we just skip it because it's faster.
Yep.
So I think am I back to just instant recharge? Yeah, close enough.
I think like one or two more would have done it, but
Get it close enough. Anyway,
Hey,
this is Heroes Pass.
hey.
This is Heroes Pass. This is another incredibly difficult area.
Yep.
Because enemies hurt a lot. You can see I'm already down to, I was saved by health gate there. So the strat here is just kind of avoid as many enemies as possible. So we have certain routes that we take that are fairly direct, but also avoid a lot of the main problem areas.
Yep.
Fortunately, this is not one of them because I got a bad spawn. RPG loader always spawns with a launcher and spawns right in front of you.
Yes, this is specifically the difficulty of this part is that there are a lot of snipers, and the snipers can hit you from basically across the map.
Wow.
Case in point.
Like that.
Like I can't even.
Wow.
I'm not even close to.
Thanks, Death Trap.
Thanks, Death Trap. Death Trap was supposed to be Death Fodder there, but he's too much of a gamer that he just stayed alive. He was supposed to distract the snipers. Unfortunately, that makes this part much more difficult because now I'm spawning right in front of the snipers. And if you just bob and weave,
They usually
They
spawn
hurt.
with elemental snipers, which means you start taking a dot. Which means that your
and there's another
health
launcher
is
behind me.
continue going down. Yep.
So, and they jump here to get around this barrier, which actually Brick and Mordecai help us with, not Claptrap this time. And then do a little here to avoid more enemies. Also a more direct path to where we need to go.
This is all places you're not really supposed to be, but
The
the game doesn't
I don't know what
really
you're
mind
talking
you being here.
and then they jump over this massive lava pit, which does two things. One, again, direct path, but also it skips a trigger that spawns a badass constructor. That hurts. And then technically I was being smart, I'd take a much different path that just completely avoids these guys. But I kind of autopiloted and ran right into them. But we're fine.
You're doing it for the anarchy.
I'm doing it for the anarchy.
There you go. There you go.
Two anarchy.
Doing it for the anarchy.
So that's Heroes Pass. That actually went not terrible.
Less
aside
bad
from
than it could have.
Less bad than it could have, considering I have a lot less fuck up. I don't think that was avoidable, just because I got unlucky with spawns, but it could have been a lot worse. So this is the final boss arena, the Vault of the Warrior. And there's a really neat and difficult skip that you can do. You're supposed to go all the way around, ride an elevator to get into the arena, or you can navigate this really weird terrain.
It takes exactly 2 nades, and you had 2 nades, so.
It took 1 nade.
Oh, you need
The
a
second nade is just for swag.
Okay, the second's for the cool jump, but
It's faster because grenade boosts are fast, but you only need 1 for the skip. But this is the final boss arena. We'll see how it goes. It'll be fine. So ironically enough, the final boss isn't that difficult in the speedrun. The difficulty lies in how fast you kill the boss, which is super dependent on how good you are at managing your scoped in shots, your buck up throughout the run, your anarchy, how good your gear is. But in terms of like actually, watch, I say this and it's going to go really poorly, but this is Jack. He just kind of stands in front of you.
and once
like,
you
doesn't
knock off
move,
his
which means you
shield,
can-
he spawns clones.
What the? What just happened?
He's got his shield
Yeah, I
on.
was going to ask the
That was-
same thing.
That was weird. Anyway, that was Jack.
A random second wind? What?
I couldn't tell you. My guess is I didn't kill him fast enough, so he spawned his shield surveyor, and I shot the shield, which killed me, but also deflected into an enemy, which I don't know what happened.
Shrug,
This was-
shrug.
This run went off the way.
we'll-
This run went off the
we'll-
rails long ago,
Well, check the VOD on YouTube.
which you can find at twitch.tv or YouTube. I don't know.
YouTube.com/GamesDoneQuick.
Games Done
Yeah.
Quick. There you are. Another segue. So, Jack actually wasn't the final boss. Every vault in the series has a vault monster protecting all the loot. And this is the Borderlands 2 vault monster, the Vault of the Warrior. And he has a massive crit spot in his chest. And the strat is just dump as many shots as you can into his chest. But
So I take it we can't pet the doggo?
No.
no, the doggo's trying to kill us.
Oh.
ZZ, just a heads up for this. The lava is rising, and you do need to get
Is
to
it?
high ground.
Is the lava rising? Are you sure? Are you saying I should avoid the lava?
Yeah, you should avoid and get to
Are
high
you saying,
ground.
wait. Are you,
can actually go
saying that
underwater
the
in
floor
this.
is lava?
Yeah, you can. I don't want to go too far because it'll kill me. There's a death. I think there's a death plane closer that way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if you've
if you have really good gear, you can just kill him in one phase in one cycle. Even with my gear, I don't think I was ever getting that. Yeah, lava. Lava's rising. Very dangerous.
Yep. It's scary.
Unfortunately, I got a really bad cycle here, so I don't want to kill him too much. Yeah, I want to leave him there.
Once he gets down
so
to
just-
about 20% ish,
It's in between the words "the" and "warrior" is the indicator. He'll go into the same death cycle that Bunker went into, but if he's already in his death cycle location, then he takes a longer time. He cycles behind the scenes, behind our backs.
I will let you know that chat is telling you to, in fact, avoid the lava.
What?
That's right.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. This lava's fine. So we did enough damage. He's in his death cycle. We just have to finish off his health. And the warrior is dead. Final boss is dead. And we have one more dialogue skip. Let's clear this area. And then one more dialogue skip so that we call him in shot, which actually kills the warrior. In newer patches of the game, his body rescinds so that you actually see the loot. But they didn't have that on this patch, so you just kind of have to find the loot around this massive...
Yep. Actually, not the reason. It's
Monster.
because too many people complain about the legendaries getting hidden. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, time ends in 3, 2, 1, now.
Nice.
Wait a sec. Let
All
me.
right, so
I don't want to touch this.
aside from where it went horribly wrong, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Borderlands runs are always, no matter the category, they're always
So-
entertaining.
5 minutes ago.
So if anyone watched this run and maybe they're like really interested to know more about Borderlands 2 speedrunning or maybe some other Borderlands games in general. And like, ooh, this could be a fun run to learn. Where would they go?
So on, I think, all of the speedrun.com pages for the Borderlands series, there's a link to the Discord. There's channels for every single game in the series, and a lot of us run multiple games. So I was on Aimbot 2 weeks ago running the pre-sequel. They're all incredibly fun runs. So hop in there. There's tutorials. There's resource channels for any resource you need to get started. For this game specifically, speedrun.com/BL2, like Amy just put in chat. But there's tutorials. I have one that's relatively recent that's on speedrun.com. A whole bunch of resources for running everything in the series, and they are incredible. If you like the Borderlands series, you'll find there's some run that you'll find that'll be really, really fun that you'll enjoy.
Yep.
And if anyone was interested in following any one of y'all, where would they go?
Twitch.tv/ZRules21, YouTube as well, same handle. Twitter, there's 3 Z's though instead of 2.
I'm at twitch.tv/Amerlin. Yeah.
And every other Tuesday at 10 p.m.
Every other Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern
channel.
on this channel. You can come see first-person shooter games and third-person shooter games.
And sometimes third and first person not shooter games.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask for one more plug. Well, thank you both very much for showcasing Borderlands 2. That was a fantastically fun run. And while the bargain bin may be closing its doors for now, do not worry, because here in a little bit is going to be She Is Speed, and they have Clock Tower 3 and Lost Nova coming up on that show. So it's going to be a fantastic run. It's going to be a fantastic evening as well. So while we go ahead and get that set up, stay tuned. This is a great opportunity to get some water, to go ahead and use the restroom, get up and stretch. I've been kind of stretching a little bit throughout this as well. So this is now a great opportunity for that. I will see you all later. Till then, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and stay tuned for She Is Speed coming up next.